Chapter 439, Descend 1. I do not respond to her words. Those who gaze into the heart crave for suicide. It feels like she is about to reveal a secret regarding the suicidal tendencies of the heart tribe. However, I neither look back nor answer. Though it's an unbearably intriguing topic, I've gone through too much since the time of Great Mountain to speak carelessly. I must stay cautious, and even more cautious with my mouth shut. There's a saying that silence is golden, but silence at the wrong time can summon a blade. I'm not some violent mountain spirit, so you can speak freely about what you're curious about. SAA, I've been read. I break into a cold sweat, unsure of what to do. Eventually, I force myself to open my mouth, with great difficulty. May I ask who you are? That is impossible. It is for your own sake as well. Very few in this mountain can bear the weight of my name. I swallow hard. For a moment, my brain froze, and I asked a question I shouldn't have. If she were someone like Great Mountain, she could have spoken her true name and exploded my entire body. Thank you for your mercy. Then, may I ask why you came to find me? You misunderstand. Pardon, I did not come to you. You called for me. I called for her. Drip, drip, drip. The cold sweat running from my head soon slides past my cheek and drops from the tip of my chin. It's not like I've met some overwhelming enemy in battle, yet here I am, sweating this much. It's proof of how tense I am. You will understand who I am once you descend. All the gods of the universe hold high expectations for you. So far, there have only been a handful of cases where all 7 have entered the path of immortal cultivation and successfully ascended without growing old. Drip, 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 drip. I feel the sweat continuously falling from my chin as I organize my thoughts for another question. I shouldn't ask any more about her identity. Instinctively, I feel that if I probe further into her identity, this being will become angry. On the other hand, I sense that if I remain silent without asking anything, this being will also take offense. Let's not be too greedy. I decide not to ask too much, only appropriate level questions. For example, the information she just hinted at. Regarding what you mentioned earlier, I'm curious as to why the Heart Tribe comes so close to suicide. Please grant me your wisdom. Now you've asked a question I can properly answer. I sense that she is smiling. Do you know why and how the heart of an existence arises? I ponder deeply, suddenly struck by the sudden profound question. I do not know. What exactly is a heart? Why does it come into existence? It's a question I've pondered since I began to explore intent, but I've never found an answer. From a purely biological standpoint, the heart, emotions, is merely the expression of genes, a collection of electrical signals. But upon coming to this world, I felt that even stars, even inanimate objects, possess something akin to a heart to some extent. In that case, what exactly is the true nature of the heart? And the answer to my long agonized question is revealed all too easily through her lips. The heart is essentially death. Sururuk. Someone's hand covers my eyes. It is clearly her hand, but I cannot think of pushing it away or resisting. Before my eyes, a pitch-black darkness spreads boundlessly, devoid of even a single ray of light. I realize that by covering my eyes, she has drawn my mind somewhere else. Pat it. Suddenly, I find myself in a pure white land. I can still sense her presence behind me. Drip, drip. Something flows beside my feet. It is dye. Dyes of various colors flow beneath my feet. When all colors eventually merge, they become black. Gurgle, gurgle. As countless hues of dye mix, they turn black. And conversely, when all intents merge, they become colorless. She is right. Those who reach 5 energies converging to the origin all come to understand this truth. Colorless and black. Both symbolize the end. The extreme of intent is, after all, the end itself. The final destination of the heart is death. Flinch. I feel a shiver run through my entire body. Chwararik. The black dye at my feet suddenly starts writhing as if it's alive, then rushes towards me. I am swallowed into the river of black dye. Cautiously opening my eyes, I find myself having somehow reached the universe. Inside the black dye, within it, the universe stretches endlessly. Countless stars drift through the vast expanse of space. Those who gaze into their hearts gradually realize the true nature of their own heart. Pat it. The stars begin to shine. The stars, in all their various colors, slowly start to illuminate the universe. The universe begins to brighten. But when that nature is fully realized, the end is. The universe continues to brighten, and it begins to heat up. Shudder. This is. I've seen this scene before. The owner of Great Mountain. The terrifying scene shown by that overwhelming existence. The conclusion of the universe. The end. The universe begins to contract. It seems to shrink at a speed faster than light, until it collapses into a single point and vanishes. Do you understand now? The reason why one can never become a true immortal through realizing the heart. The reason why the entire world despises those who cultivate the heart. And The reason why the fate of those who seek to realize their heart inevitably draws closer to death. Because the heart is essentially death? That's not all. The more people who gaze into the heart and realize its nature, the faster the end of their entire world approaches. Not only do they destroy themselves, they also lead the entire world to death. That is the power of the heart. The conditions of the end for all the heavenly domains were altered to such by vast cold. Pardon, I feel my mind freeze. Who is this vast cold she's speaking of? It's all too obvious. The owner of the vast cold heavenly circle. The being who, alongside the tribunal, challenged something and met a gruesome end. Because of that being, the laws of the heavenly domain now hasten the end the more the heart is realized. Truly horrific and ominous. That is the true nature of the heart. I feel her breath behind me. While I remain frozen, she offers me a proposal. So I offer you this. From this day forward, do not look into your heart anymore. Just focus on understanding your feelings and experiencing them as they are. To cultivate the heart only accelerates everyone's misfortune and does nothing to aid in immortal cultivation. If you accept my offer, I will immediately elevate you to an immortal seat, Shanzhou. I am shocked by the staggering offer. The words immortal seat burrow into my mind, injecting its meaning. True immortal. She is offering to make me a true immortal if I give up on martial arts. It is such a radical offer that I'm left speechless. But what truly frightens me is her authority. If she's an existence capable of immediately making me a true immortal, what will she do if I refuse her offer? The nightmare of the owner of Great Mountain flashes before my eyes. The universe perished in an instant, everyone died, and my body was torn to pieces. Resistance was impossible. This time, it feels like it will only be even worse, never less. There is no hope. Though she's neither threatening nor coercing me, merely speaking calmly, I feel my rationality crumbling. I feel so terrified that I want to vomit. I try to come up with countless solutions in my head, but none of them are useful. I just want to collapse and sob, begging her to leave me alone. Yes, finding peace here wouldn't be so bad. If I become a true immortal, I wouldn't have to worry about my lifespan anymore, nor fear losing my comrades. With my abilities, I could live, running away even from the owner of Great Mountain after becoming a true immortal. Wouldn't it be best to just accept her words and obtain an immortal seat? It's when I open my mouth. In that instant, a single memory flashes through my mind. It's a certain scene. A withered, aged hand is holding someone else's hand. The sturdy-looking someone is standing with the light at their back, looking at me with a complicated expression while holding my hand. Guju. 9 categories. Your name is Guju. A fleeting moment. But in that brief instant of a moment, I shut my mouth. For some reason, an unknown emotion takes root inside me. I remain silent for a moment. Then I respond. I refuse. Why? It is difficult to obtain a human body, and it is difficult still to realize the Tao, Renshen Nan De Dao Nanming. Seeing. Instead of answering, I half open my eyes and speak. Through flower souls filling the heavens, a faint memory resurfaces. The 16th cycle. A conversation I shared with my friend. Follow the human heart to seek the root of the Tao. I shout, shaking off the rising fear within my heart. If this body cannot achieve transcendence in this life, Zishen Bu Shang Jin Shengdu. I feel her gasp. Though I do not read her intent, I can sense her emotion. She is genuinely surprised. When shall I wait again to transcend this existence? Dai Dung Hushadu Hishun. Editor, more details on the poem are given at the end of the chapter. Hot. Along with her, the world brightens before my eyes. The image of the universe where everything has disappeared fades, and I find myself back in Soak Village. I see her, remove her hand from my eyes. Facing the fear, I speak to her. I understand now what you mean by death ultimately being the heart. The heart is born from the contemplation of how to accept the life that will inevitably come to an end. However, even if the nature of the heart is terrifying, I will stand with my own feet in this terrifying world. She does not reply. Undeterred, I continue speaking. Receiving this body, receiving this moment, and even receiving death itself are opportunities that will never come again. Even if the heart brings me closer to death, as long as I've been given the chance to search for the roots of my heart in this life, I will not give up. Because that is my promise with them. Recalling the heart from the 16th cycle, which I cannot fully remember even with flower soul filling the heavens, I resolve firmly. If you wish, you may torture me. Even if words begging for death escape my lips, words of giving up will never come from my mouth. Then, a voice of laughter comes from behind me. It is a clear laugh. The more you read the heart, the closer your fate will be to death. Countless hands of death will reach out toward you. Even in such misfortune, will you truly not lose your heart? I will try. I firmly vow. Even if there are those around me who die, I will do my best so that they can die having obtained what they desired before death. If my friend is to die in the evening, I will bring them what they wish for that morning. I will do my utmost to make it so. Dying is undoubtedly a sad and frightening thing. The severing of all connections and hearts is a fear and pain so deep it could tear one's soul apart. But still, death comes to everyone in the end. If what we cannot escape are death and fate, I will find the greatest happiness within them. Does abandoning my heart mean death will no longer loom over my connections? Of course not. No being is without death. Moreover, my heart is not something made solely for myself. So how could I possibly dare to give up this heart so recklessly? Even if it leads to the destruction of the world, no one can take away what I hold in my embrace. Not because I refuse to let it go, but because it already belongs to everyone. Summing up my long and firm heart essence and resolve, I shout to her, behind me. Not just the immortal seed, but even if you were to offer me the throne of supreme deities, I will not give this up. Please return. For a moment, silence lingers. Then, I sense that her laughter has ceased. In that case, I shall observe just how much you realize the weight of your words. I had originally intended to meet you in another place, but having confirmed your determination in this place today, it seems I have no choice but to wait for our next meeting. Step, step. I feel her leaving from behind me. I look forward to our next meeting. Until then, beware of the North, Buri, as they may be the worst opponent for all enders. Sururu. With that, as I close and open my eyes, I find myself standing before Ryowa's corpse. I have returned. I quickly turn around. There's nothing behind me except the shadow of the cedar trees. Looking forward again, I see Hong Fan standing there. Beware of the North? What does it mean? There is power in her words, and I realize that her words themselves symbolize the North itself. Is there something in the North? Or perhaps, is there a figure symbolizing the North among the true immortals who poses a threat to us? I don't know the details. Looking at Hong Fan approaching, I shake my head to clear my thoughts. Are you all right, master? You're drenched in sweat. He hands me a towel. I wipe the sweat and look at him. After entering the integration stage, he appears a bit younger. The face that was once fully that of an elderly man now looks to be in his 50s or 60s. Black hair is beginning to sprout from his head. Hong Fan. I look at him and say, "What is it? Thanks. Pardon, for staying by my side." Hong Fan lets out a soft laugh, looking a little embarrassed as he speaks. "As long as we stand under this sky, I will always serve you with the utmost sincerity, master. There's no need to thank me." I smile lightly, rise from my seat, and pick up Ryowa's corpse, burying her body. Chwerak. Please, rest in peace. Ryowa, who has endured countless years. Together with Hong Fan, I stay up through the night, paying my respects to her. 20 years pass. Pukwak. I click my tongue bitterly as I look at Jehu, whose eyes are closed as if dead, impaled by my sword. Hanauer. Jehu, the great warrior of the miniature monkey race, bleeds from my hand before fainting. My heart sword has subdued their heart essence. Though they aren't dead, they must have fallen into a comatose state. Over the past 20 years, Dokyong has repeatedly challenged me, and I met him in battle every time. In the end, Dokyong of the tiny fungal race became completely battered and killed by me. And today, I faced Jehu of the miniature monkey race, and, at last, succeeded in subduing without killing. It's been long. Over the past 20 years, while facing the two masters of the first step before the throne, I have awakened 5 of the 6 divine powers of my body. Time, sir, is the life that forms as moments meet with moments. Wind, Feng, is the breeze that etches the form of the fading moment on the world. Cold, Han, is the loneliness of the moment. Heat, Yu, is the affection of the moment. Sunlight, Yang, is the clarity of the moment. Without using spiritual power, I can control the harmony of heaven and earth by simply altering my heart essence. When I use the divine power of time, the flow of heaven and earth spiritual energy surrounding me quickens. When I use the divine power of wind, the flow of heaven and earth spiritual energy stirs the wind, sculpting the surrounding land. The divine power of cold hardens the sculpted land, imprinting its form. The divine power of heat melts the imprinted form, restoring the land to its original form. The divine power of sunlight allows me to clearly perceive all the divine powers I've used so far. Now, the only one left is the divine power of rain. I can sense it. Once I awaken the last of the divine powers, I will reach the grand perfection integration stage. And then, there's at least a 70% chance that I'll rise to the star-shattering stage. As I send sword energy flying off into the distance, I ponder. I must reach the star-shattering stage quickly. Baekwoon said that within a few years, she would regain her position as Sacred Master. Yet, decades have passed, and there is still no sign of her recovery. Now that I think about it, the one who referred to 500 years as just a short period is Baekwoon. Perhaps her concept of a few years is far longer than imagined. Therefore, even a day faster, I must raise my heaven and earth cultivation to the star-shattering stage and protect the entire bright cold realm with my own hands. Now, among those who reached first step before the throne, all of Zhang Yix's disciples who reached the peak of the realm are either dead or in a comatose state. Having put Jehu into a comatose state, I've now become somewhat accustomed to void shattering, enough to subdue without killing them. Thanks to this, no other challengers from the Heart Tribe have come to me. That's a good thing. Now, the gap between us has become so vast that it's meaningless for anyone to challenge me. However, this also means that if I wish to raise my realm further, I will have to seek out opponents myself. If I find some strong vestiges, it might not be a bad idea to go and test myself. Just when I think so. Tot. Above the tallest tree in Cedarwood Grove where I am sitting. There, Kim Young-hoon and Kim Yun appear. Ah, what brings you here? I ask, looking at them. What's this? Surely Kim Young-hoon isn't planning to challenge me, is he? After all, the only one in the Supreme Council of Cedarwood Grove who has reached the extreme of the first step before the throne is Kim Young-hoon. But contrary to my thoughts, Kim Young-hoon chuckles and shakes his head. I know what you're thinking, but it's not that. The detailed explanation. Kim Yun should be the one to give it. I'm puzzled. Kim Yun steps forward with a bitter expression and speaks. A challenger has come for you. Who is it? Sensing the unusual atmosphere between the two, I ask seriously. And with her next words, I can only open my mouth dumbfoundedly. Hyangwa. Out of nowhere, Book Hyangwa has sent me a challenge. I stand at the dueling arena of Cedarwood Grove. A large crowd has gathered around. Seo Ran, Shurho, Kim Young-hoon, those who have been close to Book Hyangwa since the Head Realm days, as well as Kim Yun, Hong Fan, and others who are close to her now, are all watching us. I glance around, then look at Book Hyangwa, who has barely stepped into the arena. I can tell she is struggling to stand. She's lost her sight. Her eyes are completely unfocused, her hands and feet trembling. Even her consciousness is extremely faint, making her hardly different from a mortal at this point. I speak to her through heart language. Why did you come? At my heart message, she gives a faint smile. Surik. She raises a jade naraigi. A naraigi filled with many connections and time. And etched into that naraigi, as if she had been researching it all this time, are countless circuits, tiny as grains of sand. I wanted to show it to you. Without a word, I grip my colorless glass sword and take my stance. The next moment, I swing my sword towards her. Through the arc of the sword, the final day of the 10th cycle, when the rain had poured heavily, brushes past. Translator notes. It is difficult to obtain a human body, and it is difficult still to realize the Tao, Run Sun Nan De Dao Nan Ming. Follow the human heart to seek the root of the Tao, Suzhen, Xinfeng Dao Gun. If this body cannot achieve transcendence in this life, Zushun Bushang Jin Shengdu. When shall I wait again to transcend this existence? Zaidunka Shidu Zushun. The above is a poem left by Lu Dongbin, warning future generations after seeing many people ensnared by fame, wealth, and lust, leaving them to vainly head toward death. It basically means that being born and living is a rare opportunity, and realizing the Tao is difficult. Hence, one should cultivate the heart to realize the Tao, because if not now, when? The Hanja for Sven Xinfang Daogun translates more accurately to mold this human heart to seek the root of the Tao. Due to similarities to Buddhist texts, I assume the poem was derived from Buddhism, since Lu Dongbin also studied Buddhism. Chapter 440, Descend, 2. Ting. The first sword strike, which carries no internal energy, spiritual power, or attraction force, is deflected by the first spell that Book Hyangwa sends out. What is this? I feel a strange sense of déjà vu from her and adjust my stance again. Are you really sure about this? Ever since I reached void shattering, even if my opponent isn't at entering heavens, I can still hear responses through heart language as long as they allow it. Her reply reaches me. I'm truly sure. Whoosh. I leap toward her as if flying. Facing her, whose level is at the nascent soul stage, I am confident I can win by merely wielding the colorless glass sword. Thus, I confront her while sealing all my spiritual power and internal energy. Swish. In an instant, I rush towards her, aiming the sword at Book Hyangwa's neck. But at that moment, I feel a sudden chill, and using only my physical strength, I use the rebounding bow technique. Gupshin. TL/N. A movement technique where one bends their body backward like a bow in midair, then springs forward using the rebound to propel themselves. Thud. A tingling runs up my ankle. I feel a single strand of my hair get cut. What was that just now? Just a moment ago, a basic spell whirled around Book Hyangwa at a spin-chilling speed, cutting through my hair. Although I feel sorry for her, Book Hyangwa is merely an expert in crafting magical artifacts, not skilled in spellcasting, so I am struck by a sense of dissonance. Is it her magic artifact? Is she fighting using a magic artifact? No, this is. I look around, searching for any hidden magic artifacts, and finally realize what it is. So it was that. Zoom. The Naraigi in her hand shines brightly. A soft, jade light radiates around her, casting spells on her behalf. So this is the source of the dissonance. A magic artifact that casts spells for her. Yet, something feels off. No, this isn't all. There is something more, something hidden that I am not aware of. Is that it? It is then that I understand why Book Hyangwa challenged me to this duel. This déjà vu. She wants me to realize something through this familiar feeling. If that's the case, I should oblige her. With my current strength, I can end this match against Book Hyangwa in less than a second. But to understand what Book Hyangwa is trying to convey through this duel, I seal my power even further. While sealing my spiritual power, internal energy, and attraction force, I also seal my consciousness. Simultaneously, I seal my sight, and briefly puncture my eardrums to seal my hearing. I breathe through my mouth instead of my nose, sealing my sense of smell, and I block my foresight, the senses of the demon race, and the vision of my intent as well. Now, all that remains is my sense of touch. I feel the grip of my sword and the vibrations of the ground. I feel the flow of the wind. And in that state, holding the colorless glass sword, I launch myself once more toward Book Hyangwa. Sururuk. I can feel it. A vibration resonates from Book Hyangwa's Naraigi. I sense the thousands upon thousands of circuits inscribed within that Naraigi, seamlessly exchanging power, weaving together spells. It wasn't just one. I am surprised by the overwhelming capabilities of the Naraigi. The Naraigi receives spiritual energy from Book Hyangwa and spews out tens of thousands of spells per second, encircling her. Tarara. I can feel it through the vibration of the air. Right now, tens of thousands of spells are being generated around her, taking the form of spell characters that surround her. Simultaneously, the spell characters begin to revolve around her in a cycle. Just like the rings of rock orbiting around Jupiter or Saturn, a ring of spell characters appears around her. Pying. The rotation of the ring displaces the air, exuding a fierce momentum. This level of spell manipulation is absurd. Just what did you do to that, Naraigi? I let out a hearty laugh and take a deep breath. Hup. In an instant, oxygen floods into the muscles of my entire body. My muscles seem to expand momentarily, drawing out explosive strength. Boom. In the next instant, I break the sound barrier using only my physical strength. The power of body strengthening techniques like the body refining methods or the demon beast methods are already sealed, and using only the strength of Seo Un-hyun, the human, I've surpassed extreme speed. The one I need to face isn't Book Hyangwa. It is the creation she holds in her hands. Pang, 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 pang. I move swiftly between the trees of cedarwood grove, striking towards the Naraigi with feints, as if I may or may not attack. Each time, the Naraigi detects my movements and moves the spell characters at extreme speed to defend Book Hyangwa. Let's see if it can really defend against this. Pang. In the next moment, I feign a sword slash from the front, but I immediately shift to her rear, thrusting my sword at the Naraigi. The Naraigi's spell manipulation falters slightly, but soon begins to respond to me. 16 spell characters shoot toward me, aiming at my feet, ankles, groin, solar plexus, neck, and philtrum. Faster. Hup. I take a deep breath in a single moment and push my muscles even further into overdrive. Boom, boom, boom. After thrusting at the line of incoming spell characters, I disrupt the flow of the ring surrounding her. Qualong. My sword, having broken the sound barrier, clashes with the ring, causing a massive explosion. Meanwhile, the Naraigi deploys defensive spells to protect Book Hyangwa, while simultaneously producing offensive spells from the defensive spells, demonstrating a seamless combination of offense and defense. What in the world? To modify spells in real time and use them like this is a skill only a grandmaster of spells could pull off. I can't help but laugh in disbelief at the idea that a mere Naraigi is pulling off such a feat. At the same time, the sense of déjà vu grows stronger. I exchange blows with the Naraigi. Even though I'm clearly fighting an emotionless artifact, it strangely feels as though I'm battling a person. Ting, ting, tang. My sword deflects 3 spells and shatters Book Hyangwa's defensive spell. The Naraigi quickly casts 7 layers of defensive spells over Book Hyangwa again, and a wide area sealing spell covers the surroundings with her as the center. The entire dueling arena is engulfed in this restriction, making my body feel heavy. Why is this? Though I am clearly in the middle of a battle, I feel as if I am dancing. So that's it. I am indeed dancing. Between the movements of my sword, the scenery of that rainy day starts to flash before my eyes. So it wasn't a hallucination. The rain I saw when I first swung my sword. It wasn't merely a nostalgic vision from my memories. Quagwagwang. Her nascent soul-level spiritual power is being supplied to the Naraigi, and the Naraigi amplifies it into spells at the heavenly being level. The surrounding terrain begins to change. Due to a fire attribute spell, the ground melts, turning into a sea of lava. Slam. I plant one foot on a solid spot amidst the lava sea and spin my body, using the wind generated by my sword to quickly cool the lava. Sararak. Even with my eyes closed, I can still see. What I see before me is not Buk Hyangwa, unleashing lava, torrential rain, and freezing cold. It's her, the one who danced with me as she was dying. The dreamlike memory of that time fills my vision. Shueya. The rain stops, and the dance between she and I also ceases. I exchange words with her, exuding curses profusely and suffering with pain. She says something to me, and in the midst of it, we share a kiss. Pat it. The curse begins to reverse. Tap, tap. Like raindrops hitting the ground and bursting apart, the dark curses explode outward, transforming into a pure white blessing. As I watch this process, I look up at the sky. Rain is born in the sky and dies when it reaches the ground. The sky that brought the rain becomes vast and empty, and the darkness disperses. Come to think of it, she was always giving me water. When we first met in the desert, when we met again for the second time, when she made it rain when we parted for the last time, and even now, Chua, lost in thought, I deflect each raindrop from the rainfall spell coming from the Naraigi with the colorless glass sword. What is rain, you? Rain is dispersion. At the same time, it is the emptiness that follows after it falls. Is that all? Chwerarak. I sense the divine power of rain activating within my embrace. While facing Buk Hyangwa, as the memories of that time come back through the Naraigi, I finally comprehend all 6 divine powers of the integration stage. However, I have a gut feeling that this isn't the end. The heart is essentially death. Her words linger in my ears. Chua. The rain is starting to stop. I flick the raindrops off my sword and point my blade at the final drop of rain. Tum. The single droplet falls onto the tip of my sword. But instead of letting it split apart, I rotate the tip of the sword. Spinning in circles, I perform a sword dance. Gradually, the tip of my sword lowers to the ground. Carefully controlling my strength so that the droplet clinging to the sword's tip doesn't burst, I finally let the raindrop roll off the blade and onto the ground. The droplet, having fallen from the sky, travels down my sword and flows into the ground. And then, it merges with the countless streams of water in the surroundings, becoming part of the lake that has pooled on the floor of the dueling grounds. I briefly sense the lake. With sight, hearing, smell, and every sense sealed, I cannot rely on any senses. In a state where all my senses are meaningless, except for touch, I perceive the entire lake through the vibrations against my skin. Pat it. The Naraigi shoots spell characters at me once again. The heart is essentially death. Raindrops are born in the sky and die on the ground. The human heart is the same. Born into this world, experiencing all of life's storms, it finally turns colorless and disperses away. Just like raindrops. Like the curses and pain I suffered in my 10th cycle. Was what I just gave you also a curse? Flash. I open my eyes. Chwack. With my single sword stroke, I slice through the spell characters and split the lake created by spells in half. And then, at last, I sever her ring. Pat it. The sword wind stirs Buk Hyangwa's hair wildly. Gripping my sword, I smile and send her a heart message. So this was it, what you wanted to convey to me. She silently nods with a faint smile. I look at the waters of the lake, which have split and are now merging back together, and glance at the sky. Raindrops are born in the sky, and they descend to the ground. But they do not die. The rain born from the sky, upon reaching the ground, flows into streams, lakes, and eventually the sea. Just as curses turn into blessings and rain becomes the sea, perhaps the end of the heart is not merely death. Wawung. I understand why the spells gather around Buk Hyangwa to form a ray. Wying. In my mind, the formulas of the vast, cold, heavenly circle begin to glow. In spring, all things are born. Chenja Wanwu Shursung. In summer, all things are grown. Shaja Wanwu Changya. In autumn, all things are matured. Chengwu Chengsu. In winter, all things are conserved. Dongja Wanwu Bizang. None are beyond the merits of the 4 seasons. Wu Fui Su Shu Zhugongye. The 4 seasons are unending. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter are engraved in the flow of the nascent soul, and the 4 seasons in the heavenly being stage correspond to human life. The passage that pays tribute to the 4 seasons, none are beyond the merits of the 4 seasons, also has the meaning of paying tribute to a person's life. It means that life doesn't end with acceptance at fate's end, Kaozhou Ming, but continues in a never-ending cycle. Kun. I realize that the 6 formulas of rain, sunlight, yang, heat, cold, wind, feng, and times, resonate with the formulas of the vast cold heavenly circle as if they are alive. The formula that begins with time ends with rain. And when the rain falls, the clouds disperse, and time flows once again. The reverse is also true. The formula that begins with rain ends with time, yet inevitably returns to rain. An endless cycle. The formulas begin to revolve. Kururum. Lightning flashes across the sky, and once again, the weather turns cloudy and rain begins to fall. It is the wind and rain I have called forth. As the rain falls on me, I ask Bu Qianghua, "Have you reached that person?" She smiles while she nods. I smile too, and at the same time, tears fall from my eyes. Bu Qianghua has finally succeeded in reaching the place connected to the Naraigi. Seo Ran, Shurho, Kim Young-hoon, and Kim Yun too. All of them are shedding tears in the rain. She has burned the last of her life to open the path to the world where Changman Ryong exists. Pat it. The Naraigi in her grasp turns pure white in an instant. A bright white light, like salt. She limps forward to me and hands over the Naraigi. Then, she opens her mouth. Her eyes are dull, her whole body trembling, but she slowly forces out her voice. Teacher, Changman Ryong, is alive. I know. As I accept the Naraigi, I speak both with heart language and my voice, so that Bu Qianghua and the others can all understand. From the moment I sealed the stone from his body into the Naraigi, I sought a way to retrieve it. But that stone vanished without a trace, leaving only a passage to a mysterious space. When I met Taoist Seo, I only thought the stone was connected to Taoist's divine power. She loses strength and collapses on the spot. I help her up. However, with Yun Yuni's help, by interpreting the power along with the vast cold heavenly circle, I was able to understand. From the very beginning, what came from teacher Changman Ryong's body was merely a passage connected to another world. That passage merely fused with the Naraigi. TL/N. Teacher as in a respectful form of address, not as in the actual teacher/master. Wawum. As she places the Naraigi into my hand, she continues speaking. As this Naraigi is connected to Taoist Seo's divine power, Taoist Seo's divine power is directly connected to the world where teacher Changman Ryong resides. Shua. I unfold the canvas of myriad forms and connections. A hazy mist spreads out around us. As I listen to Bu Qianghua's words, I grip the Naraigi even tighter. So that's how it is? After Bu Qianghua placed Changman Ryong's strange stone into the Naraigi and time passed, my canvas of myriad forms and connections itself became a passage to somewhere. I peer into the far distance within the canvas of myriad forms and connections. From there, a very familiar energy is emanating. Punlai Island, the world atop Salt Mountain where Yukyo and Baek Rin had headed. According to Yukyo, the place where Changman Ryong is located may be another dream, but the essence is likely the same. At this moment, I finally begin to understand how Kim Yun came to possess the ritual worship scripture of love of virtue. Woom. Just as the Naraigi surrounded Bu Qianghua's body with spells in the form of a ring, the dream world atop Salt Mountain is deeply connected to the power of samsara, envy, cyclic change/reincarnation. Though no one had managed to claim any treasures within Punlai Island that day, the reason Kim Yun alone obtained what she desired was because she possessed the vast cold heavenly circle. I have always dreamed, from a young age, of being crushed beneath a massive bird. Gradually, our comrades began to gather around us. Seo Ran, Shurho, Kim Young-hoon, Kim Yun, and others. Everyone close to Bu Qianghua gathers nearby. When I think about it, it wasn't a dream of being crushed. The bird was simply watching me. I only mistook the pressure for being crushed. That great bird had always been whispering inspirations to me, and I only came to realize when my death was near. TSD. Two patterns appear on Bu Qianghua's face. One is golden, the other silver. My fate. Through the Naraigi, after consulting with teacher Changman Ryong. After asking that person, I came to learn the truth. A great being gave birth to a living fate, and this fate spread throughout the world, giving birth to beings who become the greatest artisans within the land they dwell. But if they leave that land, they die for various reasons. This living fate is precisely the true nature of the extraordinary pattern law talent. Bu Qianghua's breath becomes labored. I can feel her entire nervous system gradually paralyzing. My curse, the heavenly punishment that began acting up recently, isn't because of the calamity we encountered back then. She looks at me as she speaks. It isn't your fault either. It's simply because as I researched the Naraigi, I began to step outside the bounds of my fate. It's not just about leaving one's physical homeland, breaking free from the fate imposed on us. That is the true condition for the curse's activation. TSD. Gradually, her body begins to shine. At the same time, I can sense her light flowing into the Naraigi. No, more precisely, within the canvas of myriad forms and connections inside it. Her soul is moving beyond, towards the world of Salt Mountain. I will go to where Teacher Chongmun Ryong is. Escaping my fate, achieving true liberation. Kim Yun bursts into tears. She tightly grasps Buk Hyangwa's hand, and I, summoning all the attraction force, spiritual power, internal energy, and all my senses, try to hold onto her soul. But it's no use. Like salt dissolving into seawater, she drifts beyond the canvas of myriad forms and connections, towards the world where Chongmun Ryong resides. And so, Pasasasasa, Buk Hyangwa begins to break apart. Her body turns into salt. Please don't be too sad. With those final words, she closes her eyes completely. I loved you all, truly. Don't go. With Kim Yun's cry, she completely turns to salt and disappears. I stare blankly at the salt that Buk Hyangwa has become. Kim Yun wails, and I tremble. The salt that she has turned into does not possess any mystical power, like that of Chongmun Ryong. It's just ordinary salt. I stroke that plain salt and stand up. The rain falling from the sky quickly ceases. Kim Yun clutches the salt to her chest and cries, but the salt just slips through her fingers again and again. Next to me, Hong Fan speaks bitterly. Miss Hyangwa should have already been dead. But until the very end, with the sole intent to save Sir Chongmun Ryong, with the sole intent to unravel the secret of the Naraigi, she extended her life by borrowing the power of the Naraigi. Perhaps as the price of borrowing the power from another world, she turned to salt when she passed. He lets out a low hum as he mourns Buk Hyangwa by my side, while I clutch the Naraigi, now turned pure white. The Naraigi has turned into a familiar material. Salt crystal. Just like the palace atop Salt Mountain, it has become a passage to another world. Shurho carefully places a hand on Kim Yun's shoulder and speaks. Lady Kim Yun, it's time to let go. We must prepare a funeral. Quiet. There's still something hope. Lady Kim Yun. At that, I turn around and speak. She's not dead yet. Everyone's eyes widen at my words. I recall how the rainwater falls to the ground and becomes a lake. Though the form may change, nothing ever truly perishes. The heart does not end with death. Even if its form changes, it is unending. And in the same manner, Buk Hyangwa's soul has only moved to another world. We can meet her again. Don't hold a funeral. Kim Yun stumbles as she stands up. The salt crumbles from her hands. How? What must we do? Are you saying there's a method to go to the place Hyangwa spoke of? It's a place we can only reach by dying. Hyangwa's research proved that. That's right. We cannot go there. Then how? That's why we have to bring that world here. What? She and the others look at me with eyes filled with confusion. The world connected through the Naraigi and the canvas of myriad forms and connections feels different from Penglai Island's world. It's only with the immense salt mountain, gigantic salt crystals, and the help of Penglai Island's formation that we barely managed to enter the world of Penglai Island. In contrast, this Naraigi is too small. At best, it can only accommodate a person's soul. That's why no living person can enter the world connected to this Naraigi. However, that doesn't mean there's no way. If we cannot go there, then we simply need to call that world here. And I already know a spell to summon an entirely different time and space into the one we are in. Follow me. Yun's play. If it's that, we can bring back Buk Hyangwa. Feeling the 6 divine powers fully settled within my body, I can tell. Even with just the cultivation of heaven and earth, I am now at the quasi-star shattering stage. Let's go in the Mad Lord. The pitiful play of the Mad Lord, which has continued for thousands of years. It is time to bring its curtains down. Chapter 441, Descend 3. Kururum. I see the smoke rising from my entire domain after being struck by the heavenly tribulation. The Grand Perfection Integration Stage Heavenly Tribulation. It's a tribulation that had been temporarily postponed with John Myonghun's power after Buk Hyangwa's death. From the moment I artificially delayed the tribulation, I had expected it to grow somewhat stronger, but... So, this is the Grand Perfection Integration Stage Heavenly Tribulation. I sigh at the electric current still tingling inside my body. Hui. Chaos Realm Region in Endless Rocky Mountain Range next to Cedarwood Grove. Due to the aftermath of my heavenly tribulation, the mountains there are not only shattered but spatial rifts have also appeared throughout the area. It wasn't even directly hit by the tribulation, but just the residual effects from the tribulation that struck and ricocheted off my body caused this much destruction. If my domain had been the typical domain of an integration stage cultivator, it would have been torn apart and crushed like the mountain range in the Chaos Realm region, leaving me in a state on the verge of death. 6 divine powers of the integration stage. Ordinary cultivators of the heaven and earth tribes simply fill their domains with energy, studying phenomena through that energy and acquiring their insights through breakthrough before understanding. I, too, thought there was no other way. until I realized that the domain at the integration stage is connected to the heart essence. If one doesn't achieve the 6 divine powers of the integration stage through understanding before breakthrough, they haven't gained the proper insights. The absolute majority of grand perfection integration cultivators, including Junjie, haven't truly realized the 6 divine powers. They are merely mimicking the process after filling their domains with energy. No wonder the success rate of rising to the star-shattering stage is so low. Even reaching grand perfection in the integration stage is rare. I recall the terrifying heavenly tribulation that just passed and laughed bitterly. Without using the power of void shattering and only relying on my heaven and earth dual cultivation, it was almost beyond my strength to face this insane level of heavenly tribulation. Most likely, ordinary cultivators at the integration stage would not rely on the 6 powers to face the heavenly tribulation of the integration stage like I did. Instead, they would depend on Dharma treasures or artifacts to elevate their realms. Relying on external objects makes one lack the strength when advancing to the star-shattering stage, leading to failure in breakthrough. Shaking off my idle thoughts, I wait for the final stage of the Great Perfection Integration Heavenly Tribulation to pass. Yurung. The dark clouds that have been pouring down the heavenly tribulation still haven't disappeared. The Great Perfection Integration stage is a special realm. It completes the integration cultivation and is the last step before advancing to the star-shattering stage. As such, the tribulation at this stage prepares one final obstacle near the end. Yurung. The dark clouds roar, gradually beginning to descend. No. Upon closer inspection, they aren't clouds but shadows. Shadows are falling from within the clouds, and the shadows cast upon the ground by the dark clouds also start swarming toward me. From the heavens and earth and all 4 directions, shadows from the directions of the 6 harmonies rush toward me. Suruk. I close my eyes. From now on, it's time for the heart demon tribulation, Shuaja. Great Perfection Integration Stage. Once the 6 divine powers are completed, a new kind of tribulation is added for cultivators. It's called the heart demon tribulation, a type of tribulation where heaven and earth blow darkness towards the cultivator in the plane of soul. From the grand perfection integration stage onward, one must overcome this darkness to settle into the next realm. Many cultivators refer to this darkness bestowed by the world as the heart heavenly demon, likening it to the heavenly fiends of the blood-eaten realm. Within the pitch-black darkness, inside Seo Eunhyun's heart essence, the heart heavenly demons begin to reveal themselves one by one. The darkness of the plane of soul. Negative and sinister torrents of emotions reborn into the world as heart heavenly demons are now entering Seo Eunhyun's heart essence. Ha ha ha, what's this? This darkness. So, this fool thinks he's endured a little pain and now casts a shadow over his heart essence, huh? The true suffering of immortal cultivation is only just beginning, you dim-witted fool. The heart heavenly demons cackle and, from deep within the darkness, they drag out something with their claw-like things. Kiik. Kirururuk. Quijigik. What the heart heavenly demons pull out is a monster. The monster's entire body burns fiercely, and its entire figure is covered with countless eyeballs, streaming tears in agony. The heart heavenly demons laugh as they look at the monster. Ha ha ha. Is this your true nature? How disgusting. So pitiful and tough-looking. But what's the use of having tough skin if your flesh is this tender? The heart heavenly demons cackle as they mercilessly tear into the monster's flesh, torturing it. But then, something strange happens. The monster being tortured by the heart heavenly demons suddenly forms a peaceful expression and closes its eyes, falling asleep. What? Did it eat something strange? It's at that moment. One of the heart heavenly demons, while mindlessly clawing in the darkness, sees another monster being dragged by its claws. Huh, what's this now? It stares in confusion at the 2 monsters, looking back and forth between them. They're identical. This bastard has a split personality? No wonder. From the moment I saw it, it looked like the heart essence of a madman. Judging by the sense of loss from losing comrades, it seems this one's mind broke from being unable to protect anything. Just then, Kugagagugagu, the heart essence begins to shake violently, and suddenly, an endless swarm of monsters pours out toward the heart heavenly demons. Heek. What is that? Panicking, they try to stand their ground against the approaching monsters. But the number of monsters is far too many. The heart heavenly demons are like a drop in the ocean compared to them. Everyone, gather together. Combine our strengths and defend our domain. If we gather, we live. If we scatter, we die. Gritting their teeth, they try to resist the oncoming wave of monsters. But then, one of the heart heavenly demons glimpses into the deep darkness. It locks eyes with something. Huh, puckwhack. In an instant, the heart heavenly demon who saw something explodes, and in its place, a tree made of sword sprouts. The tree burns with flames, but but from within, endless groans of agony can be heard. The tree is definitely burning, but it emits no light. Only streams of darkness, hideous beyond words, flow from the sword tree. The heart heavenly demons begin to panic. Then, several more heart heavenly demons glance into the deep darkness. Whack, quack, Aron. With those words, the other heart heavenly demons also begin to change. The remaining heart heavenly demon, terrified, look toward the depths of the darkness. And as if realizing something, they shout out in horror. So that's it. It's a senior. The quasi-immortal level heart demon that appears when entering Nirvana quasi-immortal's breakthrough has already been parasitizing this cultivator's mind. Then, we came to the wrong place. Senior, please hear us out for a moment. The heart heavenly demons bowed down toward the darkness, crying out. The great Een Soul, Dian, has decreed that no integration stage grand cultivators in the bright cold realm should advance any further. We came here in droves because of that command. Truly, we didn't mean to offend your dignity. The next moment, the loud clamoring heart heavenly demon explodes, being absorbed into the darkness. From deep within the darkness, a massive presence quietly mutters. Silence. Crunch. With that, all the heart heavenly demons are dragged into the darkness at once. Wawaza, heart demon senior, is enraged. Everyone run. The heart heavenly demons scream in unison and flee. However, they are quickly sucked into the darkness, and terrible screams echo from within. Kwa, let me out. Please, let me out. What is this? Just what is this? The heart heavenly demons who reach the edge of the darkness hear those screams and are gripped with even greater terror, trying to escape. But as the heart essence squirms, they are all sucked inward. Kwa, elder, please kwa. Finally, the last remaining heart heavenly demon is sucked into the depths of the darkness. And deep within the darkness, Co Eunhyun's eyes glisten as he absorbs the last remaining heart heavenly demon into his glass mountain. Great Een Soul. Blink. I open my eyes. The heart demons themselves weren't much. They are merely clusters of negative energy, so once absorbed within me and dissolved in pain, they reverted to their original form as pure negative force. But there's something more that concerns me. Great Een Soul. It's information I discovered while dissolving the heart heavenly demons. Although Great Een Soul doesn't seem to be the official name, I can understand the meaning behind it. An immense Een Yin. The being they referred to possesses the attribute of immense Een, and that's why the being was referred to as the Great Een Soul. Thump, thump. I look up at the sky. I've fully stabilized at the grand perfection integration stage. The sky is clear, and no celestial energy is visibly present. But I can sense it. I've been feeling it ever since I heard the words of the heart demons in the plane of soul. Instinctively, I know that something in the bright cold realm has begun to shift out of place. Whatever the heart heavenly demons call the Great Een Soul has begun to exert its power in the bright cold realm. Kugugugugu. The bright cold realm. One of the colonies of the tall tree race. That place is currently being reduced to ashes beneath a strange fortress floating in the sky. Wying. Bee-like puppets are flying through the sky, capturing the cultivators of the tall tree race and dragging them inside the strange fortress. Inside the fortress, hundreds of tall tree race cultivators are confined in barrels, trembling with fear, each with a strange tightening band-like ring attached to their heads. TL/N. Tightening band as in the golden circlet that Sun Wukong has. And the one observing this scene, the Mad Lord, strokes his chin while rolling his eyes. Oh ho ho ho. How interesting. Don't you agree? You there? The Mad Lord asks one of the tall tree race cultivators with an intrigued expression. What exactly do you mean? Your heads, of course. When I analyze the waves from your heads, what appears is a sacred vessel, sacred master. That's all that's in there. Oh, of course. The sacred master is our idol. No. That's not the point. I already know she's your idol. But what's interesting is that 1 in every 10 of you unconditionally harbor secret, malicious desires toward the image of that sacred master. At those words, steam like vapor rises from the face of the tall tree race cultivator. Their face distorts grotesquely like a malevolent spirit, and the Mad Lord bursts into insane laughter. Isn't it astonishing that you all harbor such hidden desires? That's slander. It's not slander. It's a precise reading from a thorough investigation. But whether you harbor lustful desires or some other dark cravings for your sacred master, I couldn't care less. What's truly astonishing is 1 in 10. No matter which of your colonies I raid, no matter which group of 10 I capture, without fail, 1 in 10 of you harbors such dark and vile desires. Do you know what that means? The tall tree race cultivator tries to speak, but the Mad Lord shoves both hands into the cultivator's mouth, sticking his eyes into the cultivator's throat as he shouts. It's as if he is greeting the inside of the tall tree race cultivator's throat. Clearly, something's gone terribly wrong. Yahaha, isn't that right, Black Lord? At the Mad Lord's words, from deep inside the throat of the tall tree race cultivator, it seems as though black energy begins to rise. However, in the next moment, as the Mad Lord opens his mouth, countless mechanical devices and puppet arms shoot out from within and seize the black something inside the tall tree race cultivator. A little later, the Mad Lord pulls out the black something and rolls his eyes wildly. Yee. Good. I'm always grateful, Black Lord. Thanks to you, the new celestial energy calculation device is smoothly nearing completion. The Mad Lord shoves the black mass into something. The devices inside the bizarre fortress begin to analyze and break down the black mass, transforming it into something else. The converted black substance moves inside a transparent crystal tube within the bizarre fortress and activates something. Flash. The crystal tube lights up, drawing a constellation in the air. The Mad Lord rubs his hands together frantically as he gazes at it. It's so interesting. Even though I, in the grand perfection 4-axis stage, can't see anything when I look at the celestial energy calculated when I input this predicts a great misfortune in the bright cold realm. That's your doing, right? Black Lord, answer me. The Mad Lord forcibly pries open another tall tree race cultivator's mouth and peers into the throat, shouting relentlessly into it. It's fine perfect wonderful to proceed. Drooling, he turns to look at her, who is undergoing modifications in the back. It was a stroke of heavenly fortune to see a star-shattering monster up close. With that data and experience, I am now able to transform deer into a genuine star-shattering. Kugugugugugu. Behind her, something round and spherical is being constructed. An artificial star. Once it's completed and placed inside deer, you will truly enter the star-shattering stage. But the power source is a problem. Even the power source of the Nether Crossing ship isn't nearly enough to operate the artificial star, barely enough to run it for 5 seconds. But it's fine. When the great misfortune sweeps the world, heaven and earth will shift. With eyes brimming with madness, the Mad Lord bursts into hysterical laughter. If I grind down the entire bright cold realm, that will be enough to elevate deer to the star-shattering stage. The Mad Lord extracts black-red, glowing masses from inside the tall tree race cultivators, rushing to complete the modifications on her. Come, outside the bizarre fortress. In a wilderness. There, a ghost king with 21 heads appears in the sky. Kugugugugu. Below the ghost king, dark clouds gather in the sky. Around the ghost king, above the dark clouds, several figures stand there. Kim Yun, Oh Hyunsuk, Hong Fan, John Myung-hoon, Kim Young-hoon, Shurho, Seo Ran, and others. They are the forces assembled to confront the Mad Lord. The ghost king, Seo Un-hyun, stares at his own hand. Strange. He reads the celestial energy in the sky again. Throughout heaven and earth, the power of Devil, Blow, is growing stronger. Perhaps because of that, the Ghost King's ghostly energy and energy are intensifying more than usual. Kurung. He looks towards the distant direction where the bizarre fortress is heading. There, too, dark clouds are rising. That just now, he feels as if a flash of black-red passed by, and with a tense expression, the Ghost King Seo Un-hyun rotates one of his 21 heads 180 degrees to address his comrades. From this moment, we will begin Operation Exorcise the Mad Lord. TL/in. In Korean, it doesn't say exorcise, but attaining Buddhahood, Sungber. It could mean awakening the Mad Lord, enlightening the Mad Lord, or transcending the Mad Lord, which can be taken as a euphemism for sending the Mad Lord to another world/death. Chapter 442, Descend 4. Operation Exorcise the Mad Lord is as follows. First, I unleash a void-shattering sword strike to slice the Mad Lord's wonderfully mysterious fortress in half. As confirmed back when Jangik was involved, even if the Mad Lord's fortress is cut in half, Yun's play will still activate, so there's no issue. Next, Kim Yun enters the split fortress, and, through the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon at great completion, triggers Yun's play. Then, Mad Lord will be exorcised, attain Buddhahood, within Yun's play, and the wonderfully mysterious fortress will fall into our hands. The wonderfully mysterious fortress has a self-repair function, so the parts one destroy should restore themselves. The variables here are the wonderfully mysterious fortress and her power. This life's wonderfully mysterious fortress has the realm annihilation ground-shrinking formation added to it. Just that alone gives it the mobility of the star-shattering stage within the bright cold realm. Moreover, having witnessed Kong Min-hee at the star-shattering stage firsthand, it's unclear how much she has been modified based on that information. In other words, I have to consider the possibility that the Mad Lord might try to escape from me. Thus, I have prepared another plan for that. You understand your role, right, Co. Ran? Yes, Senior. Co. Ran is aboard the Nether Crossing ship. Co. Ran's Nether Crossing ship has a power source installed. The power source from the Nether Crossing ship that was destroyed by Kong Min He was moved to Co. Ran's Nether Crossing ship. However, since this is a temporary arrangement, there is the condition that it has to be returned to Black Ghost Valley later. To think that when I mentioned going to face the Mad Lord, they readily lent me the power source with both hands. To Black Ghost Valley, the Mad Lord is a terrifying beast that left a blemish on their 500,000-year history. Saying we're going to eliminate such a monster, they didn't just lend us the Nether Crossing ship, but also numerous Ghost Kings. Kaiowea, Kia. Thanks to that, the eerie cries of the Ghost Kings are resonating from within the Nether Crossing ship. I gesture to Co. Ran, and he responds with a nod. Following the signal, my comrades quickly board the Nether Crossing ship. It will take about 5 seconds to activate the Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation. During that time, we must infiltrate the wonderfully mysterious fortress. If the Mad Lord escapes while fighting me, I will pursue him, while my comrades who infiltrate the wonderfully mysterious fortress will activate Yun's play. Yes, I will complete the mission without fail, even if it's to carry on my master's grudge. Behind the energetically shouting Co. Ran, it feels as though I can see the faint image of Song Jin, the Grand Elder of Black Ghost Valley who was humiliatingly defeated by the Mad Lord. Song Jin's vengeance will carry on through Co. Ran and be executed today. Good, then let's go. I nod and turn my head again. Kugagugum. The Nether Crossing ship moves. The Nether Crossing ship tears through space and performs a spatial leap. The next place the Nether Crossing ship will appear in the next moment will be inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I exude ghostly energy as I fly towards the wonderfully mysterious fortress, dragging dark clouds behind me. When the gliding technique of the demon race, which utilizes heaven and earth spiritual energy as stepping stones, is used in a certain realm, the heaven and earth spiritual energy begins to assist them. Heaven and earth spiritual energy voluntarily rushes in, allowing the demon race to move even faster. The dense spiritual energy transforms into the form of clouds, making it appear as though they are riding on clouds as they move. Quorum. Using the gliding technique, I shoot swiftly towards the wonderfully mysterious fortress from above the black clouds. TSTS. Curses begin to flow from my entire body. The next moment, Quam. I collide with the defensive barrier surrounding the wonderfully mysterious fortress. The defensive barrier wavers. At the same time, the part of the formation I touched begins to decay. Whying. An alarm blares from the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I smile faintly and stretch out both hands. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Ninth move. Landscape painting. The slash spread in all directions. The transparent sword energy shatters the Mad Lord's defensive formation in one blow. With this, the Nether Crossing ship will reach the interior of the wonderfully mysterious fortress without issue. Since the barrier likely also includes parts that block enemy teleportation, the operation should proceed smoothly now. What remains is, we've known each other for quite some time, haven't we? She appears above the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Kugagugagu. I feel the wonderfully mysterious fortress trembling. The Mad Lord may be insane, but he's no fool. Of course, his ability to assess situations is rather poor. That's why the Mad Lord implanted a situation judgment magic artifact in his body. Thanks to that, when he meets a dangerous enemy, he knows how to flee at the right moment. Even if the Mad Lord wishes to fight, the judgment device implanted in him runs simulated battles with illusions, and if it determines there is no chance of victory, it forces him to attempt an escape. After all, what do you think made that madman, who struggles to tell right from wrong, flee from the flying immortal platform in the first place? And now, the judgment device implanted in the Mad Lord seems to have decided that he stands no chance against me, as the Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation begins to be activated. Why ying? I can see space bending. What the? It's faster than I expected. It seems I made a slight miscalculation. It looks like the Realm Annihilation Ground Shrinking Formation will only take about 3 seconds to activate. In that time, the Mad Lord must have modified the formation once more, enhancing its performance. Now, the only remaining factor is her capabilities. I enter into the time of instance and fix my gaze on her. 3 seconds. It's short, but for those at the integration stage and above, it's an extremely long time. We've had quite a lot of ill fate between us, but I smile as I look at her. I recall the Mad Lord threatening all the other cultivation sects through her in Ascension Path. I recall her chasing after me like a madwoman with just one hand, forcing me to suicide. I recall her, who spent 1,000 years with the Mad Lord, and in terms of energy had grown to the size of the star-shattering stage. She has always been a terrifying presence to me. As I gaze at her, whose face is covered in white cloth like the Bu Qianghua I danced with in the 10th cycle, I softly mutter, "Today, I will confirm your face and sever this ill-fated connection." And in that moment, I rush straight toward her. Qualong! An immense roar and shockwave erupt. I sense that the Nether Crossing ship has successfully teleported into the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Now, all I need to do is tie her down. I can feel it from the first strike. It's insane, Mad Lord. She's stronger than her at the 1,000-year pot. I can already sense the power of a star at the star-shattering stage. But the strength consumption is fast. I realize that this overwhelming wave of power will soon subside. At best, 5 seconds. After that, it'll stop functioning. Her strength is immense, but it only lasts 5 seconds. Of course, in the star-shattering stage, 5 seconds is an incredibly long time, but that's all. It's incomplete. Her output included, she can't move in the same flow of time as me. The acceleration of consciousness at this stage is at an almost transcendental speed. Then, please be on your way. She, who I once feared. Click. In the frozen world. There, something like a disc rises behind her. What? It's a ring. Behind her back, like a halo, like an aureole, a perfectly round ring appears. At the same time, a sharp mechanical sound is heard from her. Celestial Energy Calculation Device, activating. Switching to combat mode. Calculation speed for countering a star-shattering stage enemy approved. Ying. Inside the semi-transparent ring, which appears to be made of crystal, something black writhes. I will counterattack. Quang. I let out a dry laugh as I watch her spear strike my sword. Celestial Energy Calculation Device? Just what have you created this time, Mad Lord? Woo-woo. From my perspective, her spear technique is crude. It's only about as complete as the Severing Mountain swordsmanship I used before Kim Young-hoon improved it. But that's not the issue here. Attraction force. Kuguguguk. I feel the power of a star surging within her. Simultaneously, the attraction force turns into repulsion, flinging me away with cosmic force. Kawung. I am flung away by that cosmic repulsive force. In the next moment, she moves above me using the ground shrinking technique and concentrates the attraction force at the tip of her spear, thrusting it down towards me. Flash. A brilliant light bursts forth. With her single strike, it's as if heaven and earth are connected by a pillar of light, and a hole is pierced below. The very space of the bright cold realm distorts, and a hole is punched right through the dimension. Click. In a fleeting instant, she adjusts her stance through the Celestial Energy Calculation Device and swings 2 short spears at me. I parry the slashes of the short spears with secluded valley, then rush towards her. Astonishing. The Mad Lord has indeed created a puppet at the star-shattering level, even if it's only for 5 seconds. Crunch. My left hand digs into her waist. She narrowly dodges my strike and climbs up a large rocky mountain before shifting her stance. In an instant, I reach in front of her. She tries to react, but I unleash 3 consecutive techniques, slamming her down along with the entire rocky mountain. Kugwang. She is unable to react in time, crashing down below before bouncing back up. I leap onto her body and extend both hands. Overlaying my hands with my sword, I slam down once more. Severing Mountain swordsmanship. Dragon Vein. Mountain and valley transformation. My left hand slashes down, cutting her, while my right hand penetrates sword energy into her body, erupting the power within as if reshaping the terrain from the inside. Quaching, quaching. I hear the sounds of mechanical components inside the puppet's body shattering. But it seems this level of damage doesn't impair her functionality, as she starts responding to me again. In the world of moments. There, she and I exchange countless blows. Splurt. We pierce through the clouds and clash in the sky. She tries to push me back using the paired wing spear technique. Using a changing technique, she attempts to expose my weaknesses, but I disrupt her internally again with Mountain Echo's Valley response. She mixes the illusory moves and domineering moves of the paired wing spear to attack me with domineering force within her illusionary strikes, but I counter it by absorbing the force and sending it back with the echoing valley. When beams of light shoot out from both her hands, I retaliate by unleashing beams of ghostly energy from my 42 eyes. As she attempts to collapse the entire space through attraction force, I slice through the entire space with accumulating dust forms a mountain. Shukwang. The force of accumulating dust forms a mountain not only cuts through the space, but continues to surge forward relentlessly. She blocks the sword energy from accumulating dust forms a mountain, but its power propels her upward endlessly toward the sky above the bright, cold realm. I chase after her, overlaying the all-heavens sword onto my body. Before long, Jung. She is pushed back by accumulating dust forms a mountain, reaching the end of the bright cold realm sky. The dimensional barrier, also known as the world shield force. Towards the her, who has reached that veil, I charge at her with my sword enveloping my body. Qualm. It feels as if the entire bright cold realm is reverberating. At the same time, the distortion of the world shield force is visible to the naked eye. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Deep mountain. Originally, deep mountain is a move that digs deep into the opponent's space and slices upward. But this time, I modified the technique to slash while body slamming. In other words, it doesn't just end with a body slam. Surung. I lift my sword energy upwards at her, who is stuck within the distorted world shield force. Flash. Along with that, the already completely distorted world shield force of the bright cold realm explodes entirely. Quagwagwang. She is flung outside the bright cold realm. She tries to regain her stance and respond to me, but I accelerate my consciousness even further and extend both hands. Sword formation. 12,000. From my entire body, colorless glass swords are unleashed. The sword formation I completed together with Hong Su Ryong encircles her. 3,000 colorless glass swords each produce 3 additional split shadows, becoming a formation of 12,000 swords. The sword formation seems to rotate around her, before gradually starting to close in. This is the end. With a loud shout, I rapidly tighten the sword formation. A burst of brilliant light erupts. Flash. With the blinding white light, an overwhelming attraction force concentrates into one spot. She emerges from the sword formation. One of her short spears is broken, and one of her arms is so tattered that it's nearly unusable. Her entire body is severely damaged. And I can finally see her face. Chapter 443, Descend, 5. As the white cloth covering her face is torn apart, the prosopagnosia spell that was cast upon it disappears. Editor. Prosopagnosia equals face blindness. Thanks to that, I am now able to clearly see her face, both with my naked eye and my consciousness. It's full of pockmarks. Her face is rough and angular, and honestly, she doesn't come across as a beauty. However, there is an inexplicable sense of dignity in her appearance. In life, she must have been an excellent martial artist, as well as a wise and noble woman. Click. She readjusts her posture through the celestial energy calculation device. In life, I don't know how she was, but now, she is nothing more than a mere battle puppet. Having reached this realm, while I might lose to a human, I no longer lose to mere puppets. Kigajegik, Gejgek, Jerururu, Kiururu. Outside the bright cold realm, the vestiges of the interdimensional void begin to swarm in. There aren't any at the star-shattering stage yet. That much is enough. Once again, she and I clash. A vestige, resembling a distorted long-tailed tit from the world of the dead, opens its 7 mouths on its body towards us. While exchanging blows with her, we move inside the vestige, exploding its body and emerging again. The vestiges cannot keep up with our speed, reduced to mere obstacles in the terrain. She, realizing that she cannot win in a direct confrontation, hides behind the vestiges to avoid my attacks, adopting a strategy of crushing me from a distance with attraction force. She moves behind 3 large vestiges. Movement technique. Mountain Lord's soaring flight. I become the Mountain Lord. Like a large beast resembling a tiger, I tear through the vestiges, rushing towards her. The severing mountain swordsmanship's Mountain Tiger and Mountain Lord's soaring flight combine, forming the image of a giant tiger leaping to bite her with its fangs. Crunch. Her left shoulder is torn off. The countless mechanical devices inside become visible. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Heavenly Lake. Preventing her from struggling, I use Heavenly Lake to absorb all the power within her into my domain. Originally, this technique traps the opponent's movements for a brief moment within the sword, limiting their actions. However, when combined with the integrated Dao domain, it feels as though I am draining all of her power, much like absorbing essence devilish arts. I grip her by the neck and right shoulder and leap toward the bright cold realm. Quang. The dimensional barrier of the bright cold realm distorts as we fall back into its interior. 2 gaping holes remain in the sky where I have pierced through. Fortunately, the world's regenerative power is closing them, but 1 or 2 vestiges will likely slip in. \x3c SSE \x3c /SSE. Holding onto her, I cast a net of curses into the sky, sealing the 2 holes temporarily. Any vestiges trying to enter will dissolve on contact. With her in my grasp, we continue to plummet from the sky of the bright cold realm. I use the 1,000-pound drop technique and attraction force to accelerate the fall. I'll destroy it. Both her and the power source of a star I sense within. At this level of acceleration, it's possible. Sensing that she will be shattered if this continues, she struggles frantically to escape from my grasp. But it's no use. I press her down even harder, suppressing her movements completely. This is the end. Let's finish this now. The ill-fated connection between she and I will finally come to an end. Warurek. Our bodies start to burn. There's not much distance left until we reach the ground. Disappear. That cannot happen. Flash. I flinch for a moment, and in that instant, she shines in front of my eyes and vanishes. Hui, in the vast, expansive sky. Now, it's just me here. That just now. An awkward but fast voice. However, it feels strange in some way. Wonderfully mysterious fortress. The wonderfully mysterious fortress used the power of the realm annihilation, ground-shrinking formation to snatch her out of my grasp. It synchronized with the power of the star inside her body, instantly pulling her away. Clearly, it had been designed so that she could return in emergencies. But I can't help but be shocked by the voice I just heard. Was that just now the personality of the wonderfully mysterious fortress? Even at the 1,000-year point, there was nothing like that. The Mad Lord isn't the type to create something like that either. If so, that means the personality must have arisen within the wonderfully mysterious fortress by itself. What is this? Is there a reason for something like that to have appeared in this life? Baffled by the unexpected development in the wonderfully mysterious fortress, I chase after it as it moves to the edge of the bright cold realm through the realm annihilation, ground-shrinking formation. No. Inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress, the Mad Lord is wailing. Before him lies her, with her left shoulder torn off and her entire body shaken and battered. The Judgment Magic artifact detected an unknown threat targeting him and triggered the Realm Annihilation Ground-Shrinking Formation. \X3C SSE \X3C/SSE. In that fleeting moment, she protected the formation. It took about 3 seconds for the wonderfully mysterious fortress to move. And as soon as those 3 seconds were up, she, in her current broken state, was transmitted in front of Mad Lord. This means that the opponent was a monster capable of reducing her, at the star-shattering level, to such a mess within just 3 seconds. The Mad Lord clutches her body, sobbing. I swore never to let you get hurt again. Why? Why are you hurt? Why did you let her get hurt? Jo Yun, is this your limit? Is this the end? What is this nonsense? She got hurt. Hurt. Clank, clank, clank. Countless puppet arms emerge from the wonderfully mysterious fortress, starting to repair her. But the vital parts aren't damaged, right? She's okay, right? The repairs will also be quick, and what absolute nonsense. You let her get hurt. We almost lost her again, and you say what? Hey, calm down. There's no point in fighting. No, what I'm saying is that these injuries aren't even that severe, so there's no need to make a fuss. Shut up. I'm saying shut, you bastard, d-bastard, d-bastard, d-bastard. Shudder, 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 shudder. Blood tears pour from the Mad Lord's eyes. He repairs her, at a terrifying speed, stroking her hand. Iwas and Iwas wrong. Please, 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 please lead us live together for 1,000 years since the spring flowers bloom at the place 80 hour vows. For a long while, the Mad Lord holds her hand, shedding both blood and tears simultaneously. Then, he suddenly turns to glance sharply at a corner of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Yes, it's you bastards. You're the ones together with the one who hurt her, aren't you? Before his eyes, a projection appears, showing the situation inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress. It reveals a corner of the fortress where the Nether Crossing ship is lodged. Fine. I'll catch every last one of you and turn you into auxiliary parts for her. You Black Ghost Valley ghost bastards. Don't expect any mercy from me today. Furious, the Mad Lord waves his hands wildly. Simultaneously, the wonderfully mysterious fortress trembles. She is fully repaired with a few parts replaced, and even the artificial star inside her is swapped out for a new one, leaving her in perfect condition. However, with an expression telling that he cannot contain his fury, the Mad Lord shouts, "Capture the intruders. Bring every single one of them to me alive, and lay them on the experiment table." At his command, countless puppets fly towards the Nether Crossing ship. Kugagugagu. Inside the wonderfully mysterious fortress. The Nether Crossing ship, having barely succeeded in spatial teleportation before the Realm Annihilation ground-shrinking formation was triggered, is lodged in one of the fortress's factories. Kayawea. From within the ship, Ghost Kings crawl out, followed by Kim Yun, Kim Young-hoon, John Myung-hoon, Oh Hyun-suk, Seo Ran, Shurho, Hong Fan, and Azure Tiger Saint. This is quite nerve-wracking already. Kim Young-hoon clicks his tongue, surveying his surroundings. Each puppet, easily at the integration stage Grand Cultivator rank or of Demon King level, numbers in the hundreds. 100 of those like Yuck Ran, huh? Well, we can at least manage to hold out, can't we? John Myung-hoon, with a slightly unnerved expression, clicks his tongue while eyeing the mass of puppets. Oh Hyun-suk, clad in the blue sky armor gifted to him by Azure Tiger Saint, clenches and unclenches his fists. Even if we can't, we have to. Seo Ran and Shur-ho, busy operating the nether-crossing ship, bombard the enemies with its cannons alongside the Ghost Kings. Hong Fan, with 8 flying daggers tied to strings connected to his fingers, unleashes poison. Kim Young-hoon, John Myung-hoon, Oh Hyun-suk, and Hong Fan, the 4 integration stage powers, form a protective perimeter around Kim Yun. Likewise, Azure Tiger Saint, Shur-ho, and others form a protective circle around Seo Ran. Quarum, /X3C, SSE, /X3C, /SSE. A puppet of the Western Flame race at the integration stage unleashes a beam of fire. Hong Fan steps forward. Now at the integration stage, he spreads both his arms wide. Kugugugugu. Integrated Dao Domain. Darkness World. Anhai Shurjit. Kururu. His body seems to expand, transforming into the shape of a massive centipede. He becomes a world filled with pitch-black toxic energy. The poison, rising to a higher plane even within the plane of Qi, morphs into something more metaphysical. The life-devouring poison rises to a higher plane, becoming a darkness that consumes both light and heat. Hong Fan, now one with his domain, coils protectively around his comrades. Huaruruk. The flames fail to penetrate Hong Fan's body and are instead absorbed into the darkness. A puppet of the Supreme Tiger race leaps towards Hong Fan, swinging its front paw down. Kugwang. But the puppet's paw is stopped by a giant hand. From within Hong Fan's coiled form, a giant arm rises. It's Oh Hyun-suk, now in the integration stage. Integrated Dao Domain. Kugugugugu. Oh Hyun-suk's body expands, and his domain envelopes the surroundings. Cold lamp underneath the great starry night palace. Dashing, Yirgung, Yi Fandong. Chwakik. Around him, a vast starry sky unfurls. It is the universe. In the midst of that cosmos, Oh Hyun-suk alone becomes a blazing blue flame. Kururu. The blue flame gradually changes color. He transforms into a purple star. Kururu. A sound resembling thunder rumbles, and Oh Hyun-suk's body becomes covered in the bones of all sorts of demon beasts. At the very bottom of the great starry night, dashing it, a single cold lamp burns, Handong, dispelling the desolate chill of the universe, pushing back the Supreme Tiger Race Demon King puppet. Kwang. Great heavenly rain of the charged lightning veil. John Myung-hoon also transforms into a 2-headed, 6-armed thunder god, expanding his domain. A world where the rain of red lightning falls. The domains of the 3 integration stage powers overlap. Domain connection. Hong Fan's darkness world, Oh Hyun-suk's cold lamp underneath the great starry night palace, and John Myung-hoon's great heavenly rain of the charged lightning veil. The 3 domains connect, intensifying in power. In the darkness untouched by light, Oh Hyun-suk's cold lamp and John Myung-hoon's red lightning manifest domains. /X3C, SSE, /X3C, /SSE. And in the center of that darkness, surrounded and protected by them, Kim Yun sits cross-legged, focusing her consciousness. Wawoong. Her threads of consciousness gather, creating something before her eyes. Waruruk. It's a consciousness clone. Like a white flame flickering, her consciousness sways, creating a clone resembling her in front of her. Seo Eun-hyun's words about the plan come to her mind. Once Hyun's play is activated, the Mad Lord will disappear on his own, and the wonderfully mysterious fortress will be theirs. A plan that appears exceptionally straightforward and clear. However, as the one with the greatest consciousness among those present, she feels an inexplicable sense of foreboding. Even though it can't be read through celestial energy, her vast consciousness, which can perceive even the plane of soul, senses something ominous from that plane. Negative thoughts amplify in her mind, and an inexplicable guilt begins to weigh on her heart. As a result, her heart wavers, and the clone before her eyes begins to flicker as well. But she recalls something and steadies her mind. Hyangwa. She ponders. She has been thinking about this for a very long time. What is love? She does not know what love is. She doesn't understand it. Even as a student, she couldn't comprehend her friends who fell in love and dated boyfriends. To Kim Yun, her parents are merely people who fought each other, abandoned her at her grandmother's house, and didn't care to take her back. Even her grandmother raised her more out of pity than love. Without ever learning about parental love or romantic love, she was thrown into society. Knowing that she herself is somewhat abnormal, Kim Yun never openly spoke about this fact. Maybe she had mentioned it once when drinking with Kong Min-hee and Oh Hyeseo. Kong Min-hee said that time would solve it, while Oh Hyeseo became exceedingly kind to her from that day on. And as Kong Min-hee said, time did solve it. The feeling of liking arose. She developed feelings for a senior at work, but in reality, that senior had no interest in her at all. Holding onto those feelings, she fell into this bizarre world. Afterward, that senior recognized her feelings. He acknowledged Kim Yun's affection. But that was it. Seo Eun-hyun ultimately rejected her. Kim Yun insisted she would continue to like him. But recently, as she spent more time with Seo Eun-hyun, she began to realize something. No, not just her, but everyone including Kim Young-hoon, John Myung-hoon, and Oh Hyun-suk felt it too. Seo Eun-hyun is insane. /X3C. SSE. /X3C. /SSE. He isn't in his right mind. She doesn't know why, but since coming to this world, his mind snapped. Even so, John Myung-hoon insists on believing in Seo Eun-hyun, trusting him. Kim Young-hoon also believes, claiming that martial arts never lie and that Seo Eun-hyun's true nature has not turned evil. Oh Hyun-suk believes out of loyalty. However, Kim Yun came to realize that her feelings towards Seo Eun-hyun have changed. Her affection remains unchanged, but the nature of that affection has subtly shifted from romantic love to sympathy. The moment she realized this, her mind wavered significantly. She thought she had discovered the emotion called love. She thought that this feeling would never change, but it degenerated. Then, does that mean love isn't such a great power? That question arose in her, and that question was answered when she met Bu Kyunghwa. Bu Kyunghwa saw her mother's image in Kim Yun and loved Kim Yun, as if Kim Yun were her mother. By receiving love, Kim Yun finally understood. True love is an unchanging force. Therefore, Kim Yun's changing affections before were not true love. That's why Kim Yun changed the way she addressed Seo Eun-hyun. She felt ashamed. It embarrasses her that she pretended to be close by calling him Eun-hyun Appa, even though she didn't truly love him. And now, Kim Yun wants to know how to truly love someone. Yuna, from now on, you're going to live at your grandmother's house. Okay. A memory from her childhood surfaces in her mind. Mom isn't going to live with me? Sorry, Yuna Mom. Doesn't think she loves your dad anymore. And it's the same for him. Not loving anymore. That is the reason Kim Yun's parents separated, and why they left her. Hence, she learned one rule from a young age. If you don't love, people will leave. From that moment on, she tried her best to love others. She didn't want anyone to leave her side. I wish no one will leave me. That is her deepest wish. Where rural. The moment she confronts this desire, the clone in front of her grows even larger. Kim Yun opens her eyes. The pure white clone also opens its eyes. Pasasasasa. At the same time, thousands, tens of thousands, and even hundreds of millions of threads of consciousness pour out from the clone's body. The consciousness threads pierce through the integrated Dao domains protecting her, directly connecting to various parts of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. /X3C. SSE. /X3C. /SSE. Chwerarek. Information from every corner of the wonderfully mysterious fortress floods into her mind. She feels herself entering a pure white world. The wonderfully mysterious fortress everything. The cradle of all its information. In front of her, she sees a giant, pure white sphere. Inside this sphere lies the control over the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Just as she is about to reach for the control authority. Flinch. In the corner of the pure white world that enters Kim Yun's vision, she sees a shadow exuding a sinister aura. Squirm, squirm. The shadow writhes, then begins to coalesce in midair. You are. Kim Yun's pupils contract sharply. It's Oh Hyaseo. Hi, our dear Yun. Thump, thump. As if emerging from the depths of the sea, black water drips from her body as Oh Hyaseo approaches Kim Yun. Kim Yun doesn't particularly step back. You've grown a lot. You're even looking me directly in the eye. Why are you here? Aha. Normally, wouldn't you be more curious about how I got here? The shadowy form of Oh Hyaseo caresses Kim Yun's cheek. I'll tell you, since the why and the how are connected. Oh Hyaseo's mouth opens. You know I got married, right? Yes, well, roughly. That's right. The person who became my husband, Seo Huiol, his superior ordered him to incapacitate the Mad Lord. The last star-shattering level force left in the bright cold realm, and Seo Huiol answered to his superior that he would bring down the Mad Lord using a secret art called tainted soul filling the heavens that he planted within the wonderfully mysterious fortress. But, Seo Huiol said this, even with his tainted soul filling the heavens, he wouldn't be able to fully erode the wonderfully mysterious fortress without a significant sacrifice. So, through tainted soul filling the heavens, I came here. I've been hiding here, waiting for the right opportunity. I heard you would return here one day, you see. She smiles faintly, stroking Kim Yun's cheek again. Do you have something to say to me? Kim Yun, expressionless, meets Oh Hyaseo's gaze and asks. Oh Hyaseo's eyes curve into crescent moons. Seo Huiol's superior, the owner of this heavenly domain, the master of all negative force. They will soon come to the bright cold realm. The wonderfully mysterious fortress is a construct built upon blood. If you connect your mind to it, you too will be tied and judged for its sins. So, I'll tell you a way. A way. Yes, a way to escape the gaze of the owner of negative force. If you use this method, you'll be able to avoid the owner's eyes and properly control the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Why are you telling me this? In response to Kim Yun's question, Oh Hi Seo smiles brightly. Because I want something from you. What do you want? \x3c SSE \x3c /SSE. It's simple. When the great being descends, secretly seize control of the wonderfully mysterious fortress and activate its hidden power. Kim Yun's expression turns puzzled. Does she want me to activate Yun's play? How does that benefit you? It's strange. Kim Yun knows a bit about her nature. A person who doesn't do anything without personal gain. That is Oh Hi Seo. As she pulls away from Kim Yun, she speaks. Because that's what Seo Huil wants. Why are you doing what Seo Huil wants? He made me an offer. That he will send me back to our original world. Oh Hi Seo's eyes tremble. I just want to go back. I'm tired of this power too. I'm sick of this vast world. There are too many immense beings here. Our world doesn't have such things. Her eyes reflect fear. The terror and dread when she saw the chief judge in the darkness is etched into her mind. If I help Seo Huil with his plan, I can return to our original world. He showed me hope. It's quite the reasonable plan. Ho ho. I can't tell you the details, but one thing's for sure. If I help Seo Huil, there's hope to return home. Ho ho. Even as she reveals her fear, Oh Hi Seo keeps smiling. So Yana, use the method I told you, and when the immense Een descends, take control of the wonderfully mysterious fortress and activate it. That's the only way for us to see hope. Ho ho. Oh Hi Seo gradually melts away as she distances herself from Kim Yun. Completely melted into a shadow, Oh Hi Seo finally dissolves entirely into the pure white world and disappears. Kim Yun watches this scene and closes her eyes. Indeed, just as Oh Hi Seo said, negative forces are gradually growing stronger. It seems true that something is trying to descend upon this land. Without immediately seizing control of the wonderfully mysterious fortress in the pure white world, she sits down cross-legged. Oh Hi Seo is clearly acting strange. And according to Seo Eun-hyun, Seo Huil uses a secret art that infects the minds of others. It's possible that Oh Hi Seo is already infected by Seo Huil, and everything she said is a lie. If Kim Yun follows her words, she might also become infected. But strangely, she doesn't feel worried. Why am I not afraid? Thump, thump. Ever since the day she realized that what she had been doing wasn't true love, Kim Yun's vast cold heavenly circle began to emit a subtle power. And every time she contemplates what love truly is, the vast cold heavenly circle starts to spin ever more strongly. When Kim Yun returned to the bright cold realm carrying this contemplation, she felt the power sensed from the vast cold heavenly circle flowing into her. She overflows with an inexplicable confidence that she cannot be infected. Kim Yun believes that the vast cold heavenly circle is protecting her. Then, it should be fine to follow her words a little. If it were Seo Eun-hyun, he would have split Oh Hi Seo in half and killed her the moment he saw her, but Kim Yun decides to follow her words. It's because the vast cold heavenly circle instills an inexplicable but absolute confidence in her, as if whispering, "It's okay." Kim Yun sits cross-legged and waits for the moment Oh Hi Seo mentioned. Bright Cold Realm, \x3c SSE, \x3c /SSE. Heavenly Lotus Mountain. Inside a certain cave within. At the center of the cave, Baek Woon sits cross-legged, her eyes half closed. I sense something strange ever since the frequency of pollination among the race increased by 30%, so it was your doing. Baek Woon speaks, staring into the deep darkness somewhere within the cave. Do you not know whom I serve? How dare you try to enter here while fearing them? And then, a voice comes from the darkness. If it were back when you were a sacred master, I would have worried about being discovered. However, as an esteemed one, do you think you're worthy of receiving the attention of the light? They know of all phenomena in the universe. Without having even fought, you act as if you know. I, on the other hand, have faced them dozens of times. It wasn't you but the chief judge of the netherworld, was it not? Elder Bloodine. At Baek Woon's words, the darkness falls silent for a moment. And then, after a while, Ziying, the entire bright cold realm trembles violently, as though someone, in a fit of rage, is shaking the entire bright cold realm. Seo Eun-hyun, who is heading in the direction of the wonderfully mysterious fortress, suddenly stops and looks up. In his 42 eyes, a gleam of terror flickers. With a stunned expression, Seo Eun-hyun opens his mouth. What is that? At the top of the wonderfully mysterious fortress, there, the Mad Lord, who is in the middle of operating something, hurriedly spins around. Behind him, the celestial energy calculation device is spinning furiously. The Mad Lord looks at the celestial energy calculation device with a puzzled expression. Een. What's this? Why is only this character appearing? Is it broken? Een. At that moment, the Mad Lord instinctively looks up at the sky. The madness-filled Mad Lord temporarily regains his sanity. What? Inside the storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person, within the care layer, someone's thoughts look up at the sky, rubbing their face in shame as their body trembles. With what face shall I meet my friends? The Tall Tree Race, the Paired Wings Race, the Fighting Ghost Race, the Fungal Bone Race, the Rotting Owl Race, the 13 races of the Earth Tribe, and the Heart Tribe. All the living beings residing in the bright cold realm look up at the sky with stunned faces. The sky is turning red. Descend. From the sky, a colossal voice, like that of a heavenly tribulation, reverberates throughout the bright cold realm. Name of bright cold, Gonghan. The light, Gong, of the bright cold realm fades as it begins to transform into the blood-een realm, Shinjet. \x3c, SSE, \x3c, /SSE. Translator notes, charged lightning veil of the great heavenly rain great heavenly rain of the charged lightning veil. Changed it to put the emphasis on the rain, similar to how the emphasis is on cold for Oh Hyunsuk's domain. 6 Divine Powers, Yippee. Chapter 444, Mad, Goth, Lord, in. 1. Do. The world starts to change. The sky turns blood red. The shadows across the entire middle realm begin to ripple as if alive. Oh, negative forces temporarily project personalities, and heart heavenly demons begin to appear in mass. Of course, they all flee from my vicinity, but for the ordinary living beings of the bright cold realm, it will be fatal. I look up with cold sweat dropping. I can feel it. Light has been severed. It feels like the ancient force realm. No celestial energy can be read from the sky. At the same time, I feel the flower soul filling the heavens squirming wildly inside my body. I can tell, there is no longer celestial energy flowing in the sky. Instead, what flows is the formula of purple soul filling the heavens formula. I see now. I recall Yukren, the secret art used to establish an attraction force with blood-een on Cherry Blossom Dragon Island. That secret art, without a doubt, was a method for forming an attraction with purple soul filling the heavens. So, the purple soul filling the heavens found in the purple soul jade seal must have originally belonged to blood-een. Purple soul filling the heavens is completed through inheritance, and the purple soul filling the heavens that resided within the purple soul jade seal was inherited from the blood-een. I sigh in relief knowing that the formula of flower soul filling the heavens does not assimilate with purple soul filling the heavens, even though it reacts to it in the sky. From the moment it became flower soul filling the heavens, this secret art must have fully escaped blood yin's influence. Thank you, Ryo-wa. Thanks to Ryo-wa, my soul is safe. But now is not the time for relief. The world is changing. Kugugugugu. Thick blood, devilish energy. Wu-wong. Yuan-yu, buried in a corner of my domain, suddenly starts to react wildly. I had long deemed it nearly useless, so I kept only a shard of Yuan-yu for safekeeping. That Yuan-yu reacts to the power of the blood-een realm. When I release Yuan-yu outside, it starts absorbing the blood devilish energy like crazy, starting to regenerate itself. Gurgle, gurgle. In an instant, the regenerated Yuan-yu's cultivation begins to rise. Surpassing the nascent soul stage, it skyrockets past the grand perfection heavenly being stage, reaching the quasi-4-axis stage. Simultaneously, a sinister glint appears in the Yuan-yu's eyes. What are you? I realize something has taken over Yuan-yu's body and ask. And Yuan-yu smirks with an eerie smile and opens its mouth. Have you been well, Dao? Clench. It's Seo Huiol. Without needing to ask, I pull out the colorless glass sword and thrust it into his mouth. Twitch, twitch. But Seo Huiol, through Yuan-yu's body, forms another mouth near the back of the throat and continues to speak. You're quite violent, Daoist. Ho-ho. Why have you come? I press the subheart sword against its soul, asking threateningly. He smiles faintly. I am here under the orders of my master, Elder Blood-een, to possess Daoist. A star-shattering level heart tribe requires special attention for possession, after all. I look into Seo Huiol's eyes. He smiles as he looks back into mine. Surung. I pull the sword back out from his mouth. Perhaps madmen understand each other in some twisted way. However, reading Seo Huiol's true intent from within his darkness, I begin to crush his body with my attraction force. Seo Huiol extends both his hands, clinging to me as if trying to possess me. And then, I ask through heart language. I understand your words well. Interpreting it in Seo Huiol's language, the meaning would be something like this. Blood-een is neither my master nor someone I wish to follow. Let's kill them together. If it's a star-shattering stage heart tribe, there is a way. It's laughable. It feels like just yesterday when Xiao Huiol referred to himself as Bloodine. But how can I trust you? You were the one who stabbed me in the back that time with Kong Minhee. Xiao Huiol responds with a faint smile. I'll take good care of your body, Daoist Xiao. Ho. I've brought a replica black ancient paper. If we form a contract with you, Daoist Xiao, as the contract overseer, the contract will overwhelmingly favor you, and there will be no concern of betrayal. I glare at him. Do you think things will go your way? You won't betray me? Just accept it. This is fate. The bright cold realm is now over, and this world will become the Bloodine realm. Then, let's make the contract under the assumption of betrayal. Don't trust me. Use me. Right now, I need Daoist Xiao, and Daoist Xiao needs my knowledge. The bright cold realm will become the Bloodine realm. I have a way to blow everything up if things go wrong. Give me a solid reason why I should trust you. You swore an oath on your main body, yet you evaded it with nonsense, saying we were never on the same side from the beginning. I suppose I'll have to tell you my elder's purpose. Do you know why the Bloodine realm's heavenly fiends have been targeting the bright cold realm so persistently? They left behind more suitable realms like the True Devil realm and the Nether Ghost realm. Even the Ancient Force realm or the Purple Gold realm could have been good options. But why do you think they're after the bright cold realm? Very well. Given my current difficult situation, I will take a step back. I will show you a way to trust me. Try dropping Daoist Xiao's Immortal Beast True Blood onto the replica black ancient paper. That will sprout the trust between us. I look at Xiao Huiol with suspicion. As we remain cautious of the red sky that has overtaken above, we continue the charade of one acting like a heavenly fiend to possess the other and the other resisting. At the same time, we engage in a proper conversation through heart language. However, from my perspective, I can't tell if this is really a proper conversation. This bastard that only spits lies? What trick is he pulling now? Even though I doubt him, I prepare to drop my Immortal Beast True Blood onto one of the replica black ancient papers in my domain. At least for now, nothing seems too out of place. His tainted soul filling the heavens isn't in play, and there are no suspicious signs. But you can never know with this guy. Puckwhack. I connect my wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon to Xiao Huiol's consciousness. Tell me, why Bloodine is targeting the bright cold realm? I've linked our consciousnesses. Even if you try to sever the connection and escape, it's useless. My subheart sword will pursue you to the very ends and reconnect us. If this black ancient paper connects my mind to some true immortal's domain or draws their attention, you'll suffer the consequences with me. Isn't it obvious? Surely, you must already know. Chief Judge of the Netherworld, Nether Devil True, Lord Yu Hao Te, Vast Cold Heavenly Lord, Deputy, Judge He Nyong, Reincarnation, Judge Yu Su Ryan, and Purple Gold Heavenly Lord. That these 5 lords waged war against something at the sun and moon heavenly domain and perished. Kwalok, this snake bastard. Black blood flows from my entire body, and Xiao Huiol, too, seems to have taken a serious shock as parts of Yuan Yu's body start melting away. But as blood devilish energy pours into him, he begins to recover quickly. I will bear it. So please drop the Immortal Beast True Blood onto the black ancient paper. In preparation for the possibility of my mind being overtaken the moment I place my Immortal Beast True Blood onto the black ancient paper, I split my consciousness and drop the true blood onto the paper. Chwak. At the same time, I feel part of my mind being transported somewhere. This is clank. As I come to my senses, my consciousness finds itself on top of one of the weights of a scale. And on the opposite weight of the scale, Xiao Huiol is sitting in a cross-legged position. I growl as I look at him. You, where's this place now? There's no need to worry, Daoist. Here, we don't need to have such a bothersome conversation. First, please take a look at the one holding the scale. At those words, I unconsciously turn my gaze toward the top of the scale. It's not because I followed Xiao Huiol's suggestion, but because I unconsciously thought, of course, that's what I should do. And what I see is a giant, Jiran. No, this isn't a being that can be called a mere giant. A giant god, Jirsun. This is a colossal god, Shun, formed from the vapor of chaos. Its size is so immense that all I can comprehend is that it's huge, without any clear sense of how large it truly is. Xiao Huiol smiles from the opposite weight of the scale and speaks. Please show your respect, Daoist Xiao. This is the immortal beast of the human race, the god of names. The master of all contracts and oaths, the immortal beast, Hyengo Shou. The high spirit grand Tao 9 heavens overseeing fate, preserving life, celestial great emperor, Shanging Galdao, and King Baosheng, Tinshang Dadi. TL/N. So, this title is taken from Zhao Xianlang, a Taoist god from the Song dynasty. Emperor Xinzhong of Song basically honored the Yellow Emperor as the ancestor of the Zhao family and gave them the title High Spirit Grand Tao Nine Heavens, overseeing fate, preserving life, heavenly venerable great emperor. Shangling Galdao, and Qingbaosheng, Tinjanani. Tremendous, just swapped heavenly venerable, Qinjun, to celestial, Qianshang. From the opposite weight, Xiao Huiol bows towards Haiyan and I, startled, hurriedly offer my respect as well. However, Haiyan doesn't react in any particular way. It seems that what stands before us is not the main body, but some kind of principle or law. As I look up at the giant god of vapor, I notice something odd. This is clearly an existence above the rank of a true immortal, but why does nothing happen even while seeing it? Just as I am pondering this, Xiao Huiol smiles and provides the answer. How does it feel to stand before the ancestor god, seed of the human race's immortal beast? The immortal beast of the human race, Haiyan, which means, in some sense, this colossal god and I are of the same race. So, is this the method you spoke of? You could say so. How fortunate it is that Taoist possesses the true blood of Go, ancient. When the power of Go and the black ancient paper meets, the subjects are brought to the sanctuary of contracts and oaths that Haiyan governs. Here, there's no need to worry about the gaze of bloodying. Kugugugugu. I nod, feeling the overwhelming presence of Haiyan. Indeed, the divine and sacred aura gently emanating from this giant god is no trivial matter. Even an existence like Blood Een would be unable to easily spy on us. I can sense this certainty on a genetic level. I ask Xiao Huiol a question. If we make a contract here, can I trust you? Yes, as long as I'm a mortal being. Any contract made here is something I can never break. No, even if I were to attain the realm of true immortals and become an immortal being, unless I transcend Haiyan rank, it's impossible to violate it. As fate supports the contract, even if one wishes to break it, the heavenly fortune will adjust to ensure that it cannot be broken. I nod in agreement. If it's to this extent, even a snake-scorpion bastard should be able to be trusted. But after nodding, my expression hardens. Tell me, what's the reason that someone like you, who doesn't do trust, is going this far to form a contract with me? What's the reason behind Blood Yin's objectives? How serious is it that you're willing to go this far just to cooperate with me? Xiao Huiol's smile fades. It doesn't disappear entirely, but knowing that his smile only fades when he's touching on something deeply connected to his essence, I realize how gravely serious this matter is. I mentioned before, didn't I? While avoiding Blood Yin's gaze, I told you about the 5 great beings who fought something, and how all 5 died afterwards. You did. The 5 great beings did indeed perish. But the second strongest among them, Yu Hao Te, managed to leave behind a leftover. It seems that here, there's no problem casually mentioning the names of true immortals. The truth about Blood Een begins to spill from Xiao Huiol's lips. Seat holder of good and evil, judge of morality Yu Hao Te. His leftover only managed to cling to one part of his vast authority, the seat of evil, vice, and was reborn anew. The vague suspicions I've had are confirmed by Xiao Huiol's words. Since I already suspected as much, I'm not particularly surprised. But what Xiao Huiol says next leaves me in utter shock. But, if the second strongest left behind a leftover, do you know what the strongest, vast cold heavenly lord, left behind? What did they leave? Their life. The vast cold heavenly lord, who was known as the strongest god, Sen, 500,000 years ago, after fighting something, is still alive. Flinch. I stare at Xiao Huiol with confused eyes, and he continues. Vast cold heavenly lord's soul disappeared somewhere, leaving them in a state akin to brain death. Their body, however, even in a vegetative state, remains alive. Even now. Chapter 445, Mad, Goth, Lord, 2. My mouth gapes at the astonishing truth. The vast cold heavenly lord is alive. If so, this bright cold realm is still alive. Isn't it a plausible truth to consider? Why do you think the ones above had to forcibly rename the vast cold realm to the bright cold realm 500,000 years ago? Why is it that the bright cold realm has the most abundant spiritual energy of all the middle realms? And why do those who come here have a fate filled with more blessings than those in other middle realms? Why is it that the bright cold realm is always referred to as the strongest and most supreme of the 6 middle realms? Other middle realm esteemed ones can propose their own titles, and the sacred master accepts them as such. But why must the esteemed ones of the bright cold realm have titles that include heaven, can, or light, gone, that the sacred master imposes? There's much more, but this is the gist of it. Sacred Master Baekwon said the reason for the sacred masters in the middle realms is because if they neglect these realms, powerful vestiges will be born. And, as far as I know, vestiges only come from corpses. But if what you're saying is true, doesn't that create a contradiction? I look at Xiao Huiol with suspicion, and he smiles faintly, placing his hand over his chest. I swear upon the name of immortal beast High and Go. Everything I, Seo Huiol, have just said is the truth. Wawung, along with his words, the balance seems to tremble, and a pure white vapor brushes past Seo Huiol's body. In this place, one cannot speak lies. The moment one utters a falsehood, they are immediately punished. If what I'm saying is true, then the other side must be lying. That means, Seo Huiol smiles faintly. Sacred Master Baek Woon, other than her abhorrence for her race's acts of pollination, has always been famous for spewing lies. No, more accurately, while she doesn't lie, she is notorious for deceiving others with her words. Her words of preventing the birth of vestiges is not wrong, since the corpse of vast cold heavenly lord will eventually truly die. Whether that's in 10 billion years or 100 billion years, who knows? It seems Baek Woon is a far more sinister existence than I initially thought. In any case, since it seems you've accepted the truth, let me tell you an old story. He begins his tale. The leftover of Nether Devil True Lord Yu Hao Te couldn't accept that he has died. Truly believing they are still Yu Hao Te, having forgotten his kind character and noble disposition, and remembering only the authority he wielded, they hoped to be reinstated in their seat. However, in the eyes of his comrades of the underworld, this Yu Hao Te of evil, who barely grasped a fraction of the authority Yu Hao Tai wielded in his prime, was unworthy, and even their character and disposition fell far short. This is the hidden backstory of the bright cold realm I have long wondered about. If only their character had remained intact, they could have easily returned to their old position. But instead, they foolishly fell into the delusion that their authority is the problem. And so, Yu Hao Te of evil came to a certain decision. As the body of my old comrade, Vast Cold, is still alive, I will make it mine. Vast Cold's soul has left on a distant journey, with no telling if it will ever return. If I take control of Vast Cold's body, I can once again fully seize my seat, and those old comrades who dismissed me will welcome me once more. Ah, truly, what a vile and filthy decision it was. To covet the body of another in order to regain a seat that was never rightfully theirs. Even worse, they still remembered that Vast Cold was once their friend. Ho ho, I tremble with rising disgust. However, that vile plan was never realized. I'm talking about the successor of ancient Force True Lord, Lofty Dragon, and Yu Hao Te's immortal treasure, CUM. Unable to watch their former superior's corruption any longer, the two joined hands. Lofty Dragon quickly entered the vast cold realm before Yu Hao Te of evil could seize the body, accepting the loss of cultivation to become a sacred master to halt Yu Hao Te of evil. SAEUM, from within Yu Hao Te of evil's body, bound their mind. However, the corrupted Yu Hao Te of evil could not suppress their desire and eventually invaded the bright cold realm. From his lips flows the truth about the great war between the true devil realm and the vast cold realm that took place 500,000 years ago. It was a terrifying war, to the point those below the integration stage had to be protected in Lofty Dragon's animal pen. Though Yu Hao Te of evil's physical body was dead, it was still the body of the chief, Judge Yu Hao Te. The nether devil realm itself invaded the vast cold realm. In the end, SAUM emerged from the nether devil realm and temporarily assumed the sacred master position of the vast cold realm, while Lofty Dragon recovered to the entering nirvana stage and faced Yu Hao Te of evil. After several years of war, Lofty Dragon finally used the serving command axe to decapitate a portion of Yu Hao Te of evil's head. Then, SAM burned their life force to transfer Yu Hao Te of evil's true soul into that severed head portion. The mural I saw on Cherry Blossom Dragon Island comes to mind. Lofty Dragon and SAUM sacrificed their lives. Lofty Dragon squeezed out all of their own blood, and SAUM tore away their own essence. The blood of Lofty Dragon and the essence of SAUM mixed, inscribing a new name onto Yu Hao Te of evil, who had been completely severed from their main body. I finally understand the creation myth of the blood-in realm. The blood of Lofty Dragon and the essence of SAUM. The authority of these two divine beings became shackles, binding Yu Hao Te of evil. Thus, they became blood-in, Shiyin. The nether devil realm became the true devil realm, and all the turbid energy and malevolent energy that once belonged to the true devil realm was carried away by blood-in. Within Blood-Yin's body, a filthy, repugnant middle realm opened up. That is the blood-in realm, Shiyin-jit. I see. The truths of the world, which I have been curious about all this time, are engraved into my mind. Blood-Yin's desire for the living body of vast cold. That is the truth behind why the heavenly fiends of the blood-in realm have been targeting the bright cold realm all this time. Yes, but that's not all. A sneer spreads across Seo Huiol's lips. Blood-in, stripped of their original name and forcibly given the new name of blood-in, fell into despair. Burdened with the new name, they could no longer reunite with the true devil realm and return to their original form. The hope of being reinstated became ever more distant. Therefore, they adjusted their goals slightly. From merely coveting the living body of Vast Cold to devouring both Vast Cold's body and the seat, Joel, they ruled. With the authority of the Tridacna Vast Cold Heavenly Lord, who once shook the 3,000 great thousand worlds, Blood-Een believed they could merge it with the seat of vice they already seized and be bestowed a new seat. A new seat? Is something like that necessary? It is. The seat of the original Yu Haute became unusable after they were forcibly renamed, and they knew they couldn't handle the seat of Vast Cold on their own. Through Xiao Huiol's words, I come to understand Blood-Yin's true objective: to usurp Vast Cold's body and authority, merge it with the seat they already seized, and conduct a ritual to obtain a new seat, the seat of abundant offspring, Jisinjongdoa. With that authority, they seek to be reinstated in the underworld. That is Blood-Yin's ultimate goal. I let out a quiet sigh. It's a ridiculous story, but since Xiao Huiol cannot lie, my trust goes in the opposite direction. With the flood of information from Xiao Huiol, I cannot help but feel overwhelmed. It's shocking enough to learn that the bright cold realm is, in fact, alive, albeit in a comatose state, let alone the truth from 500,000 years ago and the true nature of Baekwon. Moreover, now knowing Blood-Yin's ultimate goal, I feel a surge of shock and try to calm my mind. So the name Blood-Een was created by Lofty Dragon's blood and the essence of Sneum, the first sacred master of the true devil realm. I immediately understand why Blood-Een created the Black Dragon race and the Sea Dragon race. For an immortal beast, the more descendants they have, the more power they channel to those descendants. Of course, to a genuine immortal beast, the authority passed on to their mortal descendants would be insignificant, like a drop in the ocean, so they wouldn't pay much attention to it. As long as they are alive, they can endlessly replenish that power anyways. But what if the immortal beast is dead? If the immortal beast is dead, the dead immortal beast's power wouldn't replenish, and if their descendants continue to siphon off it, the immortal beast's power will eventually be depleted, leaving the entire bloodline powerless. This means Blood-Een created countless Black Dragon and Sea Dragon descendants in an effort to escape the shackles of their own name. It's suspicious that the leaders of the Black Dragon race and Sea Dragon race all have names like Hein Eum and Jai Eum. Could it be an attempt to disperse the power contained in the name Eum? That seems plausible. TL/N. In case you forgot, Eum means Een. A faint smile. Xiao Huiol continues speaking with a clear smile. The current situation is quite dire. If left unchecked as they are, the worst true immortal with the body of Vast Cold, Blood-Een, will be born. At the very least, a being surpassing a great net immortal will emerge. If that happens, the Sun and Moon heavenly domain will be finished at that moment. That's why I sincerely wish to join hands with you, Taoist Xiao. Xiao Huiol extends his hand towards me from the opposite side of the scale. I look at Xiao Huiol for a moment. Indeed, the current situation is terrifying. I still remember the power of the owner of Great Mountain. With a single mantra, they compressed and annihilated an entire heavenly domain. It's a moment terrifying enough to send chills down my spine, a memory both fearful and awe-inspiring. That wasn't even the main body, just a projection. In that case, if I assume Blood-Een manages to get their hands on Vast Cold's body, then the power of Blood-Een with Vast Cold's body might not fall too short of what I saw from the owner of Great Mountain. The weight of the name Vast Cold is that heavy. It is, without a doubt, a serious situation. However, I look at Xiao Huiol and ask, so what's your goal, Xiao Huiol? Blood-Yin's objective is resurrection through Vast Cold's body, but I still don't know what Xiao Huiol's genuine goal is. In response to my question, Xiao Huiol smiles and says, to reunite with my family. Is Xiao Ren doing well? He's fine. I feel much more at ease without you by his side. I glare at him and ask, to reunite with your family? Is that really your goal? What are you going to do when you meet Xiao Ren? I'll pat him on the shoulder and tell him he's been through a lot. Above all, Ren and I, we share the same blood. I try to read Xiao Huiol's intent or attack him with the Subheart Sword, but it seems that such things don't work in this space. What is he planning to do to Xiao Ren? I speak while looking at him. Sorry, but if you intend to endanger Xiao Ren through this incident, I cannot cooperate with your plan. I understand. Anyway, given the severity of the situation, I have no intention of getting into a verbal battle with Taoist Xiao. Limited to this plan, I will cause no harm to Taoist Xiao and his comrades and will only focus on my own path. The comrades affected by your tainted soul filling the heavens must not be included in the path you speak of. Agreed. I will focus solely on myself, and for this matter alone, I will unconditionally cooperate with Taoist Xiao without betrayal. I will not pull wordplay like last time, saying, We weren't on the same side, so it's not betrayal. I nod. Good. In that case, although I'm not happy about it, let's join hands. Ho ho, a wise decision, Daoist Seo. In front of High and Go, we form a temporary alliance contract. Quang, I feel the authority of a transcendent being binding us together. This is, quite literally, an action in the plane of fate. Since fate guarantees our contract, even if we want to break it, the very act of breaking it becomes impossible as celestial energy moves. Hot. Seo Huiol's scale and my scale draw closer. I glance at Seo Huiol and take his hand. Seo Huiol and I, though temporarily, have formed a true alliance. Author's note, CO Alliance. Chapter 446, Mad. Goth, Lord. Din. 3. The contract is sealed, and we return once again to the place where we had been wrestling just moments before, stepping out from the sacred sanctuary of contracts and oaths. Squelch, squelch. I can feel Seo Huiol, who is borrowing Yuan Yu's body, seeping unpleasantly into mine. For now, I need to pretend to have control over you, so please understand. Leave Yuan Yu's blood body behind. Take your tainted soul filling the heavens out, and get lost. Ho ho, very well for now. However, as we'll need to stay in contact, please leave me a mark, Daoist Seo. Fine. I feel Seo Huiol's tainted soul filling the heavens withdraw from my body. How surprising. Surprisingly, Seo Huiol did truly remove tainted soul filling the heavens from my body. Even after checking my shadow, there is no trace of Seo Huiol's tainted soul filling the heavens. Having reached void shattering, I would have immediately sensed tainted soul filling the heavens. Forming an alliance before High and Go seems to be quite effective. Feeling an inexplicable sense of reassurance, I begin communicating with Seo Huiol through the heart essence avatar I implanted in his heart essence. So, do you have a plan, Seo Huiol? Ho ho. Bloodine began eroding the bright cold realm somewhat recklessly. They mentioned they will be having a conversation with Baekwoon, but it seems Baekwoon has scratched their reverse scale. He continues explaining. Due to this reckless erosion, a gap has formed. Normally, there would have been about 1,000 years grace period left, but due to Sacred Master Baekwoon having stepped down from her rank and overexerting her powers, this situation has occurred. All we need to do is strike at what Bloodine fears the most within that gap. What do they fear? I can sense Seo Huiol chuckling from beyond the darkness. It's clearly a mocking laugh. They fear the dead coming back to life the most. Specifically, the resurrection of Vast Cold. Resurrecting Vast Cold? Are you saying that we're going to do that? Do you think that makes sense? Of course, people like us cannot resurrect Vast Cold. However, we can stir up the energy enough for Vast Cold's living body to react. What? How? Mad Lord. I flinch in surprise, and Seo Huiol gives additional explanation. I heard this directly from Bloodine. The Black Dragon King, Hien Eum, was modified after being defeated by the Mad Lord, and during that process, the Mad Lord's wonderfully mysterious fortress was confirmed to contain the power of Vast Cold. I am aware that the Mad Lord also has his own agenda. If you activate the wonderfully mysterious fortress according to his purpose, the power of Vast Cold he has cultivated will emerge. That power, if it can be released at the location where Blood Yin's invasion began, we can delay Blood Yin's plan. Delaying the plan. Is there no way to completely stop it? Unless Blood Yin suffers a fatal wound, it's impossible. The best we can do is grant the bright cold realm about 50 years of reprieve. Ziying. Feeling the heavy weight of responsibility, I fly towards the wonderfully mysterious fortress. I can see the wonderfully mysterious fortress in the distance. Alright, I get it for now. So where exactly did Blood Yin's invasion begin? It's a place Daoist Seo knows well. Heavenly Lotus Mountain. It's the place where the Sacred Master resides. It seems Baekwoon was the first to encounter Blood Yin. Then I just need to bring the wonderfully mysterious fortress to Heavenly Lotus Mountain. Just as I think that. Come. An inexplicable foreboding arises from the plane of soul. Through the plane of soul, all the way beyond. From the far edge of bright cold realm, I can sense exceedingly ominous and sinister beings descending upon the realm. This is... oh dear. I can feel Seo Huiol clicking his tongue. Whoa. Space distorts, and colossal projections begin appearing near the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Esteemed one Sui Ryong, Soing, Shattered Bell. Esteemed one Gaiak Hao, Jishab Controlling Strike. Esteemed one Wyon, Weiwen, False Stability. Esteemed one Yuk Nyong, Ink Nurturing Mud. Esteemed one GWI Ryuk, Walu, Ruinland. Esteemed one Hill Gi, Huji, Wild Skill. Esteemed one Gu Chion, Goi Jan, Jade Tablet Trampling. TL/N. These are the names, not the titles of the esteemed ones. The projections of the 7 esteemed ones of an era, Chi Daijinja, from the Blood Yin realm, have descended here to suppress the power of Vast Cold that Seo Huiol mentioned. Kugagagugu. A giant covered in red coral. Esteemed one Sui Ryong chants an incomprehensible blood-in realm incantation as they approach the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Hey, Seo Huil. We need to stop them. Do you have any methods? I did already say I will take over, but it seems they don't trust me enough. What to do? Seo Huil speaks after a moment of pondering. You have no solution either, do you? Ho ho, just wait a little longer. I have a decent PLA. Forget it. Without listening to Seo Huil, I flauntingly tear the blood body from within myself beneath the sky. Voila! As I rip out my blood body, I let out a howl, instantly drawing the attention of all the esteemed ones toward me. The fact that they're trying to use the esteemed ones to suppress the Mad Lord must mean Bloodine is still in the midst of corroding bright cold realm and is yet unable to fully exert their power. In that case, there's a simple solution. I'll break through the esteemed ones, take the wonderfully mysterious fortress to Heavenly Lotus Mountain, and have the Mad Lord activate Yun's play within it. Wouldn't that do the trick? Ho-ho, do you think that's possible? I respond curtly. Yes. Kwong. I become a giant of starlight. Seeing the giant with 21 heads appear before them, the esteemed ones of the Blood-in realm seem momentarily confused, unable to grasp the situation and staring blankly at me. I calmly walk through their midst. The pressure from the star-shattering stage esteemed one is something I can easily disperse with my void-shattering attainments, so I remain unburdened by it as I walk past them and grab hold of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Coom. Then, without a care, I lift the wonderfully mysterious fortress with one arm and begin heading towards Heavenly Lotus Mountain, walking right through the middle of the esteemed ones. Only then do the Blood-in esteemed ones who were slow to react finally begin attacking me. The emerging coral esteemed one Sui Ryong opens their mouth. As they shout a lion's roar accompanied by the Blood-in realm incantation, red coral burst from the ground, trying to trap me. TL/N. Lion's roar as in the Buddhist technique in martial arts novels. Esteemed one Gaiak Hao, whose entire body is covered in eyes, stares at me, causing my body to freeze. Esteemed one Wyon, whose entire body is made of rattling bones, scatters into pieces and forms a cage around me. Esteemed one Yuk Nyong, a giant made of red clay, lifts the ground beneath my feet. Esteemed one Gwi Ryuk, in the form of an insect covered in dark red scales, releases hideous shadows from each of their scales and shoots them at me, while esteemed one Hill Gi, resembling a mantis, swings their forearms and slashes my way. Quarrurum. The entire area collapses. The aftermath of the Blood-in realm esteemed one's authorities spread in all four directions. Quarrurum. The place we are standing is a Chaos Realm region in the northwest part of the Bright Cold Realm. It is a region adjacent to the Heaven Tribe territory. The aftermath of the esteemed one's combined assault, which began in this Chaos Realm region, shakes the entire Heaven Tribe territory. As the red light fades, I let out a smile. Assuming I am of a lower realm, it seems you attacked too half-heartedly. Chiak. I dodged all of their recent attacks. Since the attacks were thrown half-heartedly by the esteemed ones in an attempt to crush a cultivator at the integration stage, they were easy to avoid. I chuckle and ask towards the interior of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Is everyone all right? Tot. However, no specific response comes, and only Hong Fan, burning on fire, appears above the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Everyone else is currently unconscious, and all the puppets of the wonderfully mysterious fortress have strange coral-like things sprouting from them, preventing them from moving. What? Everyone's unconscious. Kugagugagugu. From behind, I sense the intense momentum of the 7 esteemed ones from the Blood-in realm. They now recognize me as an equal and are preparing to attack seriously. But I ignore them and continue questioning Hong Fan. Sir Young-hoon and Lady Yun, as well as the Mad Lord, are holding on. But no one is in good condition. I release my consciousness and quickly scan the inside of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. As Hong Fan said, Kim Yun seems to be conscious but is sitting cross-legged, completely motionless. Kim Young-hoon is gripping his saber and focusing intensely with an appearance of barely holding on, while the Mad Lord is conscious, but his condition seems serious. Gwagak. Kwa. Heek. Ughook. Quyuk. Countless heart heavenly demons are pouring out of the Mad Lord's body. Heart heavenly demons are formed when negative energy temporarily gains a personality. Heart heavenly demons are not living creatures, but rather things like characters in a novel or pieces in a chess game. As long as there is a target to grant them a personality, heart heavenly demons can be endlessly generated. And, due to the whispers of the artificial souls in the wonderfully mysterious fortress, the Mad Lord is no different from someone possessing hundreds of millions upon trillions of personalities. In other words, he is practically the ideal state for heart heavenly demons to envelop him. Damn, for the catalyst to activate Yun's Yun to be in this state. I approach the Mad Lord using a Heart Essence avatar. As my avatar gets closer, the heart heavenly demons that have already emerged flee in terror, but those still being created inside cannot be stopped. I can see the heart heavenly demons endlessly torturing the Mad Lord's soul. This isn't a problem that can be solved by purification through blessings. It might offer a temporary solution, but that's it. Eventually, this state will return. What should I do? As I ponder, it happens. Seo Unhyun, is it? I approach the Mad Lord through my Heart Essence avatar. Are you conscious? It's difficult. The Mad Lord, having his soul tortured by countless heart heavenly demons, struggles to his feet. Drip, drip, drip. Has some misfortune arisen? The bright cold realm is being destroyed. Is that so? The Mad Lord sheds tears of blood. It seems you have a solution. Yes. If you bring the wonderfully mysterious fortress to Heavenly Lotus Mountain and attain Buddhahood, that should do it. The Mad Lord's eyes glint, as if he instantly understands what I mean. I see. I will do so. Step, step. The Mad Lord, burdened with innumerable heart heavenly demons, barely manages to grasp the controls of the wonderfully mysterious fortress and speaks, saying that must mean my disciple has been completed, right? I look at the Mad Lord. Then I glance down at Kim Yun, sitting cross-legged below, and I answer honestly. I do not know. You do not know? Yes. I am not qualified to judge whether Yun is complete or not. If she gave it her all, she would be complete. If not, she wouldn't be complete. If she is truly sincere, then she absolutely will be complete. Kugugugugu. The wonderfully mysterious fortress begins to move. I stop carrying the wonderfully mysterious fortress, reducing the size of my main body, and climb to the top of the fortress. The Mad Lord, his hands trembling, grips the controls and asks, even amidst the torture of the heart heavenly demons, what drives him is nothing but his sheer willpower. You, for some reason, seem to believe that child has been completed. At least, Kugugugu. The realm annihilation ground shrinking formation activates. I look at Kim Yun. Inside her nascent soul, the vast cold heavenly circle is spinning fiercely. The essence of the vast cold heavenly circle is to give meaning to life. The fact that it's spinning means that she is doing everything in her power to find that meaning. There's no way she isn't sincere. After saying this, I move my avatar to the floor where Kim Young-hoon and Kim Yun are. I approach Kim Young-hoon and exchange a glance with him. Focusing his consciousness, Kim Young-hoon barely manages to nod. In an instant, I reach out towards Kim Young-hoon's heart essence. The green padao embedded in his heart essence comes into my hand. I retrieve the heart essence avatar. Pat it. The heart essence avatar, holding the green padao, reaches me at the peak of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. The moment before the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation activates, I see the Blood-een Realm 7 esteemed ones of an era preparing to unleash their power. Led by the fallen Yellow Dragon race member, Gucheon, I can feel the 7 esteemed ones combining their strengths to obliterate us. With that level of authority, even if we move using the ground shrinking formation, it will likely follow us and destroy the wonderfully mysterious fortress. At least, if they can follow. Boom. I raise the padao. It feels as though Jang-ik is shouting beside me. Collapsing immortals, annihilating heavens. Kururum. The green blade light intercepts the combined strike of the esteemed ones, and the realm annihilation ground shrinking formation activates. Our destination is Heavenly Lotus Great Mountain, Blood Yin's corroded land. Flash. The wonderfully mysterious fortress leaps through space, and I can see the Blood-een Realm 7 esteemed ones of an era crossing space to follow us. Thud, 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 thud. I recall Jiang Chong, Yu Yun, Ryo Hua, Dokyong, and Jehu who died in my hands. Jang-ik's padaos I received from them before their deaths, and the padaos given to me by the entire Heart Tribe Supreme Council before Operation Exorcise the Mad Lord. A total of 22 green padaos are embedded around me. Collapsing immortals. Kugugugugu. I pull out one of the padaos and shout, annihilating heavens. At last, the wonderfully mysterious fortress reaches Heavenly Lotus Great Mountain. I look at the remaining esteemed ones of the Blood-een Realm. The Blood-een Realm 7 esteemed ones of an era have now become the Blood-een Realm 2 esteemed ones of an era.